Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the broadcast. David Snedeker here, broadcasting to you live from Los Angeles, California. Happy to have you along on this beautiful Friday evening. I hope that you had a good Friday, and I hope that you had a good week. I know I did, and I'm looking forward to spending a few hours with you this evening and getting into some things that are happening out in the world, and also talking some of you off the ledge. I can tell you after the Durham news, right? So let me start by saying, as I think that many of you already know, and that is that we are absolutely looking at things differently than most. And if you're going to kind of embrace that, the fact that you're looking at things differently than the rest of the world, then it is my hope that you don't have a knee-jerk reaction to things when they unfold, and that you're able to step back and take a look at things for what they are, uh, really what they are, rather than what they are perceived to be. And so let's everybody come on in. Let's check our coats. We are 1,200 strong right now, and I appreciate you sharing this out. We've been averaging over 3,000 every night, and so I look forward to doing that again this evening. Although Fridays normally we'll have a little bit fewer than normal, but hopefully tonight we'll be able to get up there. So please share this out. Let your family and friends know what we're looking at here. And let's get started. So if you're new here, let us know. We'd love to say hello. We love newbies, and we love you anywhere you are in your awakening process. You are welcome here. If you're new to the Great Awakening, welcome. You're right on time. And if you've been here a while, well done, because you're ahead of the curve of so many that really are just now awakening to the reality of the world around us. So imagine that, if you will, that it's a winter storm, and we've got a big heavy coat on, and you're coming into a nice, beautiful, warm Snedeker theater with 1,200 other beautiful humans. And you're not going to wear your big bulky coat. So we imagine all of our preconceived notions and unconscious bias and our ego that are wrapped up in this coat. Excuse me. And we check our coat at the coat check. We grab a ticket. It's safe there. It's going to be there when you leave. You can grab it. All your things are safe. All your indoctrination, all your preconceived notions, unconscious bias, and ego will be there when you finish here. And then that allows you to grab a drink, grab a snack, your favorite person, your favorite you, your favorite pet, and come on in and say hi to your fellow Snedheads here. And we will get underway. And it allows you to open up your mind and open up your heart to what we're about to download here. Okay, so I want to start with what's on everybody's mind regarding John Durham. If you don't know, John Durham has resigned his post as the, my seat is a little uncomfortable tonight. Something's going on here. And so he resigned his post effective the 28th, same day, by the way, as John Huber, and but he is still head of the special counsel. Okay, I want you to imagine Robert Mueller as the head of the special counsel against Donald Trump and the Russian collusion, which turned up nothing. Okay. Mueller didn't have another job outside of that, okay? Durham does have a job as Attorney General of Connecticut outside of the job of the special counsel, investigating basically what Mueller was failed at, because what that was a projection upon the Trump campaign, the Trump team, as to what they were trying to pin on Trump, and then it did not. It did not transpire because they had no real evidence of that. And as a matter of fact, it was a projection of what the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC and the deep state had conspired to spy on and to try to pin a Russian collusion hoax on Donald Trump. We also wasted 4 years of the left and the media basically already acting as if Donald Trump was guilty of the Russian collusion in the election, and that he stole the election from Hillary Clinton thanks to the Russians. And so this was a projection, because we know the evidence shows that there was actually Russian collusion by the Hillary Clinton campaign to basically pin the Russian story on Trump so that it would detract from us looking at the Hillary Clinton campaign's collusion with Russia through Uranium One. Okay, and this is going to come up later in the Truthcast tonight when Todd comes on with a bomb, and so we're going to get into that a little bit more. And so now you have John Durham, who can now call Bill Barr as a witness. He can call John Huber as a witness in the special counsel to really find out that it was the Obama administration, it was the Clinton campaign that were responsible for all this behavior with the Russians, and all this behavior to try to unseat a sitting president, Donald John Trump, through their illegal activity. And so this is going to be very interesting. So now you're looking at John Durham. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you have a tasty drink in front of you, a tasty snack. I got a tasty snack, but I'm probably not going to eat it because the sound is going to be a little much. So, but that's okay. So now we have, Huber just went full time. I'm sorry, Durham just went full time. Okay, and so this is going to be very interesting. And how about the timing of this as well, folks? Think about this. The timing of this, okay? 228. Let me can I write that somewhere? 228:21. Okay? 2 and 2 is 4 and 8 is 12 and 2021 and 2 is 14 and another 2 is 16, 20, and then 1 is 17. So Sunday's date, when President Donald Trump will speak at CPAC, where Huber resigns, Durham resigns, effective that day, okay? And it adds up to 17. And also, Todd was telling me another number that some Anons were figuring out, that Durham, the time of Durham to today adds up is 107. You drop the 0 at 17. I'm going to find out more about that. I forget what that was. If you guys know, let me know. And so I got to read this. Mary, I love you, Dave. Having a great time with family, relaxing, having wine with my daughter. Thank you for all you do. Coat is in the closet, ready for tonight. Hi, Mary. Thank you for that. That's very sweet. Dave, what was our couple of surprises yesterday? Vicky, you weren't here. I'm sorry. There's no surprise. You weren't here. You missed the surprises. I'll get to that here in a minute. I'm just teasing you. So at any rate, the this is a good thing. Okay, so let's be careful how we react. Yeah, and certainly the most important thing that I wish for you and all of you is that the things that are happening aren't controlling you, that you're in control of your emotions because you don't immediately go to the right brain fear, the right brain emotion, the amygdala, fight or flight, real fear, like severe fear, and that you're able to pull back from it and say, okay, time out, hold on, let me count to three, let me count to 10, whatever, however you, whatever number you got to count to, right? Let me just count to that number. Let me just pull back and let me just take a look at this, and let me look at it logically. That's your left brain. Okay, that's your left brain that tells you, oh, okay, well, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and oh, okay, all right. So don't allow it in past your armor of God. Okay, keep your armor of God up, and trust that you're now, because you are awake, you have been awakened, you are now a free thinker. You are challenging everything you see and hear and read, including me and what I tell you here. Challenge everything you hear. Put it through this process of this bullshit meter, okay? And you're seeing more and more insanity out there, okay? So much so that you go running for a safe haven, like this truth cast, like many other truth casts, and even among all of us, be discerning. Yeah, be discerning with what you're taking in, what information you're taking in. And I would also add, and by the way, I don't want you to think I'm speaking to you patronizingly or I'm speaking down to you. I'm speaking so I can hear it too, because we are human, so we all get caught up in this, right? We all get caught up, and certainly also wanting to hear things that we want to hear goes in a lot easier. Okay. And what we really need to hear a lot is that, hi, Erica, is Linda drinking a beer and making burgers. Awesome. And so Durham was AG for Connecticut. Randolph, how you doing? You're welcome. So we will take in, right, the things we want to hear a lot easier than the things we don't want to hear. Okay. And so so be careful when you're hearing the things you want to hear, and challenge that as well, right? And yeah, faith over fear too, right? That God wins. Now, has God been winning on this planet for a long time? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. And you guys may challenge that, and I want you to, because I want you to challenge things that you hear. But this planet has been taken over by Satan, and what we are witnessing is the absolute indoctrination of humanity, so that we don't even realize that happened. Okay, because these children that are being trafficked, that are being abused, that are being murdered, that are being harvested, it's just unfathomable. It is a science fiction movie of, literally the Matrix using. And by the way, one of the surprises from last night was that we're going to have the author of The Matrix on, and this is the original author, not the Wachowski brothers, or now the Wachowski sisters, but this is the man who The Matrix was stolen from, and has plenty of evidence to that fact. So we're going to have Tom on. I'm hoping next week. We're going to connect this weekend. And so big thanks to Julie Harris for making that happen. And so that was one of the surprises last night. And so Excuse me. And so it's like the Matrix, where they're literally using humans for batteries. Okay, that was the premise, right, of the Matrix. And so we'll get into that with Tom, and also, um, and I've had work stolen from me in Hollywood as well. And so I really feel for Tom and what he went through. And so yeah, so we're gonna get deeper into that. But this is science fiction stuff. And here's the thing that is, and I wanted to speak to Hollywood for a moment, because as you guys know, I was involved in Hollywood, certainly not at a level of import. I did independent feature films that were literally the most expensive feature film I ever made was 2.23 million, and that's peanuts compared to, that's literally a music budget on many bigger films, okay, or a food budget on a much bigger film. So so that's not a big deal. But I was in the storytelling, and I was in the script writing and the rewrites and the directing and the editing and the acting and so forth. And so I was quite aware of all of the manipulation that occurs. Yeah, like for example, you're pining over one word, right? And you're trying to figure out what word should we use, that word or this word, or should we use this lighting or this sound or this music? And you're going through all the elements to try to manipulate the viewer. And it can be, by the way, a very how shall I say, noble effort, right? Because I want to, as a filmmaker, I want to make you feel sadness, right? Because this certain situation, I want you to feel what's happening to the characters in that scene and make you feel sad. And then I'm going to make you feel good in another scene. And so it's like the manipulation of your emotions. And so when you're involved in this process, every single scene in every movie that you're writing, that you're creating, is for the goal is to move the story along, right? But to bring you, the viewer, into the story and move along with the characters. And so this is why I speak to you about live, truth casts, right? I always want to go live with you. I'll do those what do you call it? Those podcasts. But I'm not writing those podcasts either. Those podcasts are live. That's me just sitting with my phone, having a drink or hanging out, out on my in my yard or in my studio here, and I'm just speaking to you. But I'm not like stopping it and editing it and rewriting it, because that's what Hollywood does. That's what the mainstream media does. Right? They are crafting their words. What I showed you last night with the interview between Reverend Al Sharpton and Kamala Harris was a well written, rehearsed, and crafted narrative to get Black people, our Black brothers and sisters, to beg for the shot in the arm. And we saw Cuomo doing the same thing in New York. Okay. So that is, so while, in what I was doing was bringing you into the story when I was writing the scripts and bringing you along the story. And there are many noble efforts that are taken in order to do that, right? But when a nefarious motive steps in, you often can't tell the difference, okay? So one of my goals with this communication to you is to show you the indoctrination, right? To show you how we have all been manipulated. Because I'm the first one to say, hey, I was indoctrinated. Okay, I'm no genius here. I was 42 years old when I awakened to this, coming up on 42. And when I awakened to the indoctrination, and I realized that I had been lied to on a mass scale, right? And so, yeah, we're still off Twitch, by the way, guys. And by the way, when I'm going off on this, like on this topic, and I used to do this a lot, and I haven't done it in a while. Would you guys mind slowing the roll just a little bit? And especially when it comes to topics that aren't something I'm talking about at the moment. And the reason I say that is because I want you guys to be able to talk to each other. As a matter of fact, in the waiting room, I'm going to get your comments back up on the screen so that you guys can see, okay, hey, how you doing, whatever, so you can see them on the screen. Because I love how you guys interact. And this wouldn't be the same if you guys weren't doing that. But what we get away from is that when I'm really on a roll here and I'm really communicating something that's so important, and we got people saying, "Is JFK alive?" It's like, come on, guys, right? And so, and it also, when I watch the show and I watch the comments, I can also see who's paying attention and who's not, right? It's almost like I'm looking for the non-comments during the times that I'm really hitting it home here, because I wouldn't be spending the kind of time I do at the beginning of the broadcast saying the things I am if I didn't think they were absolutely vital for us to take home and to take in through the rest of the Truthcast. So just ask you to slow the roll, during the monologue and certain times when we're really, connecting on certain topics. And then, of course, don't get me wrong, I never want to silence you. I never want you to ever feel like you can't speak your truth, your mind. The only time that's an issue, the only time that we squash that is if you're not being respectful to others. If you're being an asshole, I'm going to kick you out just like I would if you were at my house at a party and you were an asshole. I'd kick you out. All right. You're going to treat the other guests poorly. You got to go, dude. I don't want you. I'm not going to try to keep somebody that's disruptive. Right. So at any rate, so I just wanted to toss that in. I appreciate you for that. So back to this manipulation. It's hard for us to tell what's intended to manipulate us to our detriment and what's intended to manipulate us to our benefit. When I say benefit, oh my gosh, I found this show called Ted Lasso. And Ted Lasso, oh my gosh, is awesome. Okay. And so you go from laughter to crying and all that. That's good stuff because it's a great message too. Right. And so that's to our benefit when we can watch something and get something really positive out of it. Right. So what I'm looking for is who's behind the message and what is the end goal here? What is the end result? And with the things that we're seeing with the show that 17 has told us to enjoy the show, right? For example, if you watch a show and there's a murder in the show, well, like we like to watch Monk. You guys, the Monk, the detective, right? And by Tony Shalhoub. And a friend of ours, by the way, directed a lot of those episodes. So we love watching his direction. And so here the show, at the beginning of every show of Monk, somebody's got to die because he's working with the homicide as a homicide consultant, right? So somebody's got to die. So that's kind of a negative thing. But the positive that comes out of it is that we see justice by the end of the show. And we also see that crime doesn't pay, and that if you're going to do this, you're going to get caught, right? So that's an example of a negative thing that happens, but a positive at the end, right? So if we're watching the show and 17 is telling us to enjoy the show, don't you think that 17 also understands that there's going to be a lot of events? There are going to be a lot of things that occur that are not so good, that are not so fun. People dying, people getting hurt. So that's going to happen. But we're looking to try to minimize the amount of collateral damage, the amount of casualties in this revolution, because that's what we're in. We're in a revolution, and to try to really mitigate that as best as we can, and till we get to the end game. Okay, and as I mentioned last night and the night before, okay, that we see desperation not in the first quarter of a game, not in the second, not in the third, but the fourth quarter. That's when we see desperation. And what you're seeing happening, play out in front of us, is either the white hats, which we believe are writing most of the script, okay, including the bombing in Syria. We'll get to that later. Or the black hats that are acting in desperation. Either, it doesn't matter which one is writing it, because the end result is going to be the same. Because we've already seen that 17 has the ability to see into the future or travel into the future, and that's why they've been 17 steps ahead of everybody. And that is why they also know more than you and me. They also know that the masses are going to wake up to this very, very soon. And it's going to be a difficult time. It's going to be a very, very difficult time. Okay? And so that they know how this needs to be unveiled, if you will. Okay? And so it is not for us to know how the unveiling will occur. Okay? And when we finally see the unveiling, I really believe that we're going to understand that that's why it had to go the way it did. Yeah, Vicky, it's going to be devastating for some. And Dina, we've had a difficult time. No question about it, right? Lisa, when was the last 17 drop? Oh, well, I can tell you right now. That's a great question. Because at the beginning of Q alerts, it normally tells us. It hasn't in a while, though. That's very odd. Oh, here we go. Let's see. 80 days. 80 days. It's been 80 days. And so, by the way, quiet can be a good thing, right? Because President Trump's awful quiet right now, isn't he? Right? President Trump's awful quiet. But we think a lot of things are happening, right? And when Q has been quiet in the past, okay, a lot of things have gone down, right? A lot of things have gone down, and so that's why we're very excited when things do go quiet, because we know that this is gonna be a very very good thing, because a lot of things are happening, right? So that's why, by the way, I want this live, because it's not this Truthcast is not well thought out. Okay, I spend about 0 minutes, honestly, thinking about what I'm going to say to you at the beginning of this show. It just flows. It just comes to me based on what's happening. Obviously, I want to jump on. I want to tell you about John Durham right away because I know many of you are nervous about that and all that. So this is just what you see is what you get, and you're also here's what we're lacking. And I've said this before, but it bears repeating because I haven't said it in a long time. So for the newbies, this will be your first time. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, almost everything that we hear, see, or read, of course, reading is seen, but you know what I mean, visually, video, or actions happening versus reading is a little different thing, is scripted. Just like the movies I made to manipulate you, to get you. It's scripted, it's scripted, it's scripted. And so one of the things I love are the guys that are and women that are getting on and getting in front of a camera and speaking to you from off the cuff, okay? And unscripted, and also unrehearsed, and not in a place of they're trying to manipulate you or coerce you. And so, and the other thing that's so important is that when you see scripted material all day long on video, on television, and on your computer, you're seeing people that are reading a teleprompter going across the screen. With me and with some others that are doing this, Scott McKay, we've asked him to come on the broadcast. David, a couple other surprises from last night. David Rodriguez is going to be back on next week. I want to get Craig Allen Campbell on from London, and so we're going to have some great guests coming up here in the next week. And also, I'm in touch with Bobby Kennedy's people to get Robert Kennedy Jr. On the Truthcast as well. So that was another surprise from last night. So when you're listening to me, you're also seeing me coming up with what I'm about to say. We don't see enough of that, especially during CV when we're not out in front of people and we're not having this communication like we're having, and we're not seeing the formulation of the words, the formulation of the ideas in real time. And that is a detriment to our human civilization right now, that we're not seeing that. Okay, that we're not seeing that. All right, so I want to say a couple things. All right. Okay, excuse me. I'm communicating here as I fly. All right, so all good. Any questions from you guys that I could jump into before we get rolling here? Welcome to the show. I'm David Snedeker. We are up to almost 2,500 beautiful people on this Friday evening. Thanks for spending your Friday with me. I'm so glad to be here with you. We are going to keep, I know this is famous last words, but I gotta stick to it. This is going to be an under 3-hour show tonight. Karen, so here's the thing. I got to figure out tonight my schedule for Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to carry Trump or not, but I should be able to do a post show if I don't carry him. Okay, if I don't carry him. Carl, great question. Good to see you, my friend. Carl's asking, March 4th, FF, what's going to happen on the 4th? Okay, I will tell you this, that there has been some internal communications at the federal level and at the state level to watch out for a potential uprising of Q on the 4th. I've seen it on a couple different situations, okay? There's a narrative, obviously, that we're aware of, that 17 is not good, and that obviously that 17 is is that we're violent, right? That we should not be allowed to communicate, that we should not be allowed to be on social media. And so what I did earlier today, and I'll pull this up for you here. Excuse me. Let me get rid of a few things here, and there we go. There we go. So this is why I posted this earlier today. Marjorie Greene said that, released the following statement. Yesterday, Joe Biden jumped right back into the Syrian civil war started by Barack Obama. Republicans should oppose the D.C. swamp, deep state's bloodthirsty desire for endless wars. Joe Biden has supported sending Americans to die in wars for 50 years. This is true, including the never-ending Iraq war. We need leaders who put America first. And my comment was, these crazy, violent Q researchers must be held accountable for speaking out against war and violence, right? Because the biggest, Marjorie Greene, according to the left and according to rhinos, is dangerous because she is espousing these crazy conspiracies, these crazy Q conspiracies, okay? Meanwhile, everybody that I'm seeing in the, where we go one, we go all, the Great Awakening, the Anons, the autists, no one's calling for violence. No. I got to be honest. I was a violent person most of my life because, well, I won't say because it's an excuse, but like I can't even tell you how many fights I've been in because I played competitive athletics and I didn't take shit from anybody. And I would, I wouldn't start fights, but I'd finish them. And so for me, I learned, and a lot of people do when you grow up playing athletics, that you learn to handle yourself physically, to resolve issues physically. And, good or bad, I kind of see it as as an unevolved human, right? I believe the unevolved of us goes right to physical violence as a means to resolve, conflict or resolve differences, right? And so it's taken me a long time, and I'm still in the process of trying to extract that had been beaten into me, not physically, I guess literally and figuratively, that you have to stand up for yourself, you have to fight for yourself from a physical standpoint. So to get that out of my DNA has taken me a long time. I'm 55 years right now. And my first reaction is not going to be one of physicality in order to resolve a situation. Now, if I have to resort to that, I'm well equipped. But my first, go-to is not physicality. And so that's one of the things that draws me to the 17 movement, because there is no violence. There is no call for violence. When I say that these people will not be able to walk down the street, okay, and when 17 says they won't be able to walk down the street once the public is made aware of what it is they do, I don't see it as a violent thing. I see it as they won't be able to walk down the street without being completely ridiculed or completely embarrassed for being a part of the cabal or being a part of this thing. And they won't be able to walk down the street because they'll be put away. Or, if their crimes against humanity were so great, possibly put down, right? So So that's one of the things that attracts me to the 17 movement, is that we're not calling for violence. You know, I'm not saying that we're going to um, going to violence. Debbie, just breathe. Cover your left eye with your left hand and keep your left eye and right eye open. Just calm your right brain. When you get into anxiety, your right brain is taking control. You're replaying something in your mind that is causing you anxiety, and I find that helps me quite a bit. Just covering my left eye, keeping my left eye open, but showing darkness, and then slow your breathing. Just slow your breathing. Okay. Slow your breathing. I know some of these topics can make us very anxious. And that's what I'm saying, is just pull yourself away from it, right? Yeah, Carl, that they're making us look like a bunch of wackos because that's their only defense. That's their projection, right? Just like the what do you call it? The Russian collusion I was talking about earlier, right? It's the projection upon us. Howard, good to see you, brother. Dave, Cindy, Todd, you're a blessing from God, as are you, my friend. Good to see you. Um, and great to hang with you on the 6th, by the way. That was so awesome. Howard and I were there. We were hanging out all day, and we heard President Trump speak. There was nothing violent in that speech, folks. Howard, when we finished hearing that speech, were we looking at each other like, let's go kick some ass? Let's go to the Capitol. We're going to kick some ass. No. Hey, let's go to the Capitol. We're going to break in and sit in Pelosi's desk. No, we weren't saying that. we were joyous. We were joyous. We were running into fellow Snedheads, and we were having a great time, and we were just so happy to be there. Howard drove cross country to be there. And thanks to Margaret, I was able to fly, So folks, this is a projection upon this movement to make us seem violent. No, sorry, not here, not here. Why? Because when you're in the right, you don't have to get violent. All you have to do is see to it that justice is served, and that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, great question. But we also want to make sure we're safe on the 4th, guys, because they've got something up their sleeve to make us look bad. Look what they already did on the 6th. They weren't Trump supporters that went in there that breached and did all those things. No, maybe there were some a part of it because they let everybody in, but that wasn't the agenda. Okay. Yeah. Greg says, breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth. That calms you down too. That's a good call. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Love it. Trump stock. Yeah, Jay, it was Trump stock, baby. It was just a bunch of love. Yeah. Alrighty. Hey, Farrah, how are you? Awesome. And good stuff. So, yeah, I was there. It was not call for violence at all. Hey, I want to get Todd and Cindy on early because we are going to keep this fairly brief this evening, and I do plan on coming back on Sunday. At some point. And by the way, I want to speak to Sunday. We'll talk about Sunday, by the way, when we get into it. Yes. Hold on. Yes. Journey on forever. Be patient, please, my dear. Be patient. I will get to that a little later. Yeah, Margaret, no violence. We were not a part of violence. I wanted to get up to the Capitol, no question about it, and I wanted to talk to the police. And as you guys know, when I left, the sergeant or whatever, the head of the police that were there, he stopped me. He said, "Hey, I just want to thank you for what you said and how you're acting." I said, "Hey, thank you." And because there were some really good people there, folks, but we're not hearing about them. Why? Because it doesn't suit the narrative. You know that. You know that, right? So, Todd, Cindy, I'm thinking the best bet. Let's shoot for Messenger, shall we? Because then I don't think you have to mute as much, and we'll figure out the. And if I drop you, we'll address that when it comes to it. It's not the right brain. You're giving half the brain a bad rap. I recommend Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's brilliant new book, Whole Brain Living. Kim, we absolutely need our whole brain for living. That's why I don't recommend wearing a patch around your whole day. This is about this is a temporary fix. The right brain, it is the right brain, by the way. You're wrong there, and from the standpoint of where the emotion is coming from, where the drama, where the recreation of things that are throwing us into a tailspin, that happens in the right brain. That's the emotional, the creative, so it's just about quieting that and opening up our left brain, because it crosses over. You cross over. So when you cover your left eye, it quiets your right brain. When you cover your right eye, it quiets your left brain, right? Just temporarily. And then you can look at things a little bit more logically. You calm yourself, you calm your ways. You absolutely need both sides of your brain, no question about it. And you jump through the corpus callosum. That's the tunnel from one side of the brain to the other. And I think, hold on, bear with me here, Cindy. I gotta pull you up here. What's going on? What's going on with my Chrome? Cindy, I'll call you right back. Thank you. But I am interested in that book. Please send me a note in that book, Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's brilliant new book, Whole Brain Living. We absolutely need our whole brain, Kim. I absolutely agree with you there. This is just a temporary fix. Let me give them a call back here. Come on now. There we go. Okay.
Hello.
Hey there. Sorry about that. I needed to get my other browser up for that. How you doing?
Okay.
How you
I'm
doing?
doing a lot better, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Rested and refreshed and enjoying the Friday here.
Cool. Awesome. Great to hear. Great to hear. Today is a good day. Hey, would you mind sharing with us a little bit about what you experienced with the Healy? Because I want to pull that up for everybody and tell them about the call tomorrow morning as just a quick little interlude.
Sure.
Please.
Sure. It was it night before last? Night before last or the night before that? Anyway, I was coming home, had my hands too full of groceries and stuff, and tried opening the screen door anyway. I overextended my wrist, and I thought that I actually sprained it because I wasn't able to use it any direction, and wrapped it up, and it was, everyone's saying you need to go get x-rayed, and I'm like, well, let's wait through the night and everything, and talked with you when we did the Healy 3 times, and put ice on it and everything, and then the next day did the Healy again, and it was a lot better that morning, and then I did it again, and right now I don't have it wrapped or anything, and I can move it, and I can move it up and down, and I was really afraid that there was maybe something a little bit more. Christy Nance Taylor and I talked about it, and anyway, I'm surprised that I'm able to do this, but yeah, it's amazing what the frequencies does with that Healy. It's just amazing.
Yep. And it's a FDA certified pain relieving device, and but it does so much more than that, and it basically puts your body in a state of healing, of a better state to help it heal itself. It's not. It's really about the frequency and balancing of the body. So this sale tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to have a Zoom call with anybody that wants to be a part of it to learn more about the Healy. And there's a special, there's up to $600 off, even more actually, $1,100, no, about $900 off down to $500 off until March 2nd. And so you can find out a lot more about this. This is like the Tesla technology, the frequency. Tesla said the future of medicine will be vibration and frequency, and this is what that's all about. And so I highly recommend. It's a little device you hold in the palm of your hand, and you hook up some wires to your wrists, and it just connects with your body, and it really works. It's really fantastic. So I wanted to share
I like
that.
that you can
Go ahead.
really pinpoint. I said I was just going to say I like that you can really pinpoint exactly what it is that you need to work on. I mean, even like it had an area for like toothache, even sinuses. I mean,
Yep.
it's pretty amazing. I plan to, use it more as the days go by. But this acute syndrome with this wrist and everything, I'm, just amazed.
Yeah.
I guess is the word for it.
And by the way,
It really does what you said it was going to do.
Yeah, and your testimony is one of just tens of thousands that we're hearing. So this thing is flying
sure.
off the shelves, and so we bring that to you because this is really, really helpful technology. I'll put the link in the description below for the call for tomorrow, and make sure you guys have that. And yeah, so I wanted to jump into. I know Todd had a big boom. Did you have anything you wanted to get into before we go to the boom?
Nope.
Awesome.
Nope, not tonight, I don't.
All right.
I'm right here with everything that he's going to talk about.
Awesome.
We were involved in it together, so I'll let him take over here.
Nice dig on that.
Thank you again for the advice on the frequencies and everything, because I really appreciate not being able to go from where I was at to where I'm at right now. So I appreciate that, Dave.
Well, you're very welcome, and I'm glad you're using it. And it's amazing that this thing is so intuitive that it knows what parts of the body to go to, and also what frequencies to use for each part of the body. It's really remarkable. This guy, on the website, by the way, the IndoctriNATION website, there's a video on there below the Healy that I just showed you. And the guy who invented it, he gets into it, and it's really amazing. Okay.
Sure is. Thanks again. Here's Todd.
Awesome.
Hey guys, hey Sned.
Hey bud,
What's
how you
happening?
doing?
Yeah, great. Yeah, speaking of that, I've been taking it to my brother who's lost his arm, and I don't know if I'm sure everybody's out there's heard of phantom pains for amputees. And it's the feeling that your arm is still there, but he's gone to the point where this isn't happening right now, but in the past, probably 2 years ago, he was just in so much pain, and I was like, what's it feel like? And he said, well, imagine somebody took your arm and put it in a fire.
Oh man!
Only you can't take it out.
Wow.
So that's how much pain, amputees go through with the phantom pains and everything. And thank God his nerve endings have gotten better on that. And actually, that's not the main problem now that he was dealing with, since he uses his other shoulder so much, it's going out. So you can imagine if you only have one arm and you're using that shoulder so much that once you have problems with that, then what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's kind of serious, bud. That's like,
are you going to walk around with, I mean, to the point of, if he were to fall, he wouldn't even be able to break his fall. It's very dangerous. And
Yeah.
anyway, so we were talking about it, and he said, I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to go in and, they're talking about doing a surgery, and he said it could go bad, and then I could be, basically no armed man. And he's got a good sense of humor about it. But anyway, so I said, why don't we try this, try the Healy? And so I've gone over there, and he's used it twice a day for today was the fifth day.
Okay.
And we've used it on acute pain. First, we used it on the gold cycle, just the overall cycle,
Yep.
a couple times. And then we use it on acute pain, and we do two 20-minute cycles right on his shoulder. And he says he feels better. He
Awesome.
was able to sleep. And really, what I kind of found out, I don't know all about this stuff. I know what Tesla said, and I know that there's other people out there that talk about frequency and vibration. But
Right.
kind of what I found out just in a little bit of research I've done about it was that it puts your cells are all charged by like milliamps or microamps, little
Yep.
basically little power supplies.
They're little power plants. Cells are power,
Right.
like little mini power plants. Yeah.
Yeah, and your power plants, if as you age and as you have any problems, inflammation or anything, it makes them less efficient. And the frequency that's shot through these are able to make the cells actually more efficient in their use, and they can bring the milliamps or the microamps back up to where they should be, so that you run efficiently as
Yep.
an organism.
Yep.
And that's kind of, that makes a lot of sense to me, other than thinking,
Yes.
what's this wave or frequency doing to my body? When you think it on a cellular level, on a microorganism level, what it's doing, it makes a lot more sense to me. So
Yes.
I kind of just watched a couple little videos about it, and it's working. So he's had a lot of success with it. So, not to make a long commercial, but if anybody's out there wondering what it's going to do,
Yeah.
He knows what pain is, and he's in a spot where he really needs this. So, thank God, you were able to send me one.
Yeah, the toxins that we get through the air, through our food, and so forth, they weaken our cells. They weaken our cells' ability to operate as they should, as mini power plants. And this is a way to get the cells working effectively so that they can release toxins, so that they can, function properly. Carol had asked which one to get. Really, it's about which one can you afford. If you can only spend $470, you'll get the holistic health here, which gives you the pain, help, mental balance, skin, sleep, bioenergetic balance, deep cycle detox, meridians. 91 programs total. The Holistic Health Plus is helps you with learning, fitness, job, beauty, chakras, protection. That's 134 programs. And then the Resonance, you can actually, it gives you Bach flower remedies, amino acids, Australian bush flowers, Alaska gem elixirs, I Ching, salts. So these are, this frequency will eventually take the place of, I believe, of even vitamins and medicine, because you're sending the frequency to the cells that are able to create those things. And so in the Resonance, you can also take a picture of somebody or yourself, and you can actually, it reads the aura. And when you get up into the Resonance level, it actually tells you what you should do, what program you should use based on what it can tell in your body. So it's really fabulous. So again, thanks for putting up with that mini, like, little. It's not a commercial. It is, because it helps support the Truthcast, certainly. But really, what it boils down to is really, we are putting something out there that I think is next level. I really think this is next level based on what everything I'm seeing. So that's why we want to talk about that. And I put the Zoom call in the chat under Restream, and you can always email me at davesned@gmail and just put Healy in the subject, and we'll get you some more information. Okay. Um, Todd?
And Dave, I'm a little
Yeah.
bit scared to use that on me because it might have the tilt level go off. I've not taken the picture and done the aura thing, so I don't want to really break the machine on the first try. So
Yeah, everybody gets that except the millennials, Todd. They don't know what tilt means.
tilt.
You had to have actually played with the flipper pads, a pinball machine to know what tilt means. Yes, by the way, and if you're using the device now, please reach out if you're having difficulty with it or you're not seeing results from it, because that is definitely the rare situation, right? Would it help you with I can't even say that, diverticulitis, Luna? I believe it will, because it helps the body function better. But if you want to come on the call tomorrow, please do. Pinball Wizard, exactly. Scoliosis, Jay. Yeah, it helped me with my L4, L5. I know it was a different device. It was called the Beamer that helped me with my L4, L5, but it's the same technology, same frequency concept. This is much less expensive than the Beamer. I could very easily put the Beamer on here as a device, but that's like $5,000. This is much less expensive, and it's portable. With the Beamer, you have to lay on it. So Todd, take us through, if you would, and then I do want to get back to some things on Durham, but take us through, if you would, what you found today with this tweet from, and did you put it in show chat, or do I just need to go to Scavino on Twitter?
I just went directly to Twitter. I just have this. I check the warm circle of Trump's friends and definite,
Right.
People that have been sources or contacts used before. Since we don't have the president directly most of the time, since he's off of Twitter, I kind of check Scavino, and I mean Scavino's like my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll try General Flynn, and then I'll try some of the Trump family members and stuff like that, and just see what's going on. The armed forces. Sometimes I go to those because they've been used before by other Anons.
Right.
So the first one today, I just happened to get done actually coming home from my brother's. I got home about 3, and started doing a little bit of research and ran across Dan had tweeted, and I was like, oh wow, I wonder what this is, and wow.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
Let me pull that up and pull up Dan Scavino here, guys, for you. And we are looking at, here we go. He tweeted 9 hours ago today, and it's a picture of Mar-a-Lago with a out to the ocean, obviously, and with the flag at half mast. Now, so Todd, you went from there to the Q drops.
Yeah, I converted to military time.
Right.
And I went, and that was the first thing I did. And normally it's weird because normally I don't convert the first thing I do. I look at the regular time and I convert from Central to Eastern, and then I go and look at the drops. But for some reason I just looked at it and I was like, oh, I just converted it because it was 12:06 my time.
Okay.
And then it was 1:06 Eastern time. and then I added
Because
the 12
I'm on
hours.
the West Coast, guys. That's why you're seeing 10:06 a.m., right? So it was 1:06, Todd, right?
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
Right. So you went to basically
I went to 1306 was the very first one I went to.
1306. Now, let's go there. Now, 1306, April 30th, 2018 is the timestamp in military time of Dan Scavino's tweet today, which was his only tweet today. And the last tweet he did, I believe, was, let me see, where is Dan? Hold on. The last one before that was February 24th with President Trump with Jack Nicklaus. Okay. So, so significant. Okay. You want to read it for us, bud?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is April 30th, 2018, like you said. And it says, define the terms of the Iran nuclear deal. Does the agreement define and confine cease and desist to the Republic of Iran? What if Iran created a classified satellite nuclear facility in northern Syria? What if the program never ceased? What other bad actors are possibly involved?
Mm-hmm.
Did the U.S. know? Where did the cash payments go? How many planes delivered? Did all the planes land in the same location? Where did the U-1 or uranium-1 material end up? Is this material traceable? Yes. Define cover. What if uranium-1 material ended up in Syria? What would be the primary purpose? Sum of all fears. In the movie, where did the material come from? What country? What would happen if Russia or another foreign state supplied uranium to Iran, Syria? War. What does uranium-1 provide? Define cover. Why did we strike Syria? Why did we really strike Syria? Define cover. Patriots in
By the way,
control.
Todd, can I interrupt you there just for a second?
Yep.
Just last night, guys, we went to the drops that showed all the Rothschild's banks around the world. I've said this before. We've talked about this before. It goes without saying, but for you newbies, one of the things I didn't say last night is that the Syria is one of the countries on this planet that does not have a Rothschild bank. And that every war that we've gone to in the past, however long, has been for the purpose of installing a Rothschild central bank. The same is true with Syria. So those drops that we were going to last night that we were led to was actually showing us the reason why the deep state is going into Syria to install a Rothschild central bank. Go ahead, bud. Thank you.
Yeah. So, when I saw this, yesterday, in fact, everybody was speculating, was it fake President Biden that actually bombed or, had the missile strike in Syria? And we talked about this on the show last night, that, if you know what we know, and I don't think we're not speculating here, that we have a fake Joe in the White House, and we've been shown a million reasons why to suspect this. And at this point, if this were a trial, I think I could show the proof that this is not the real JB in office.
Right.
So we were wondering, why and how this happened with the military, and it had to come back to a white hat operation. But what's the history of Syria? What happened in Syria just not too long ago? What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when they had the chemical attack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we found out later after that it was staged, that there were no chemicals involved,
Right.
that it was all a media setup.
FF.
And yes, and so that has a history of being a source of disinformation, because anybody that's on the ground there,
Mm-hmm.
reporter, anybody like that, you don't know if you can trust the information coming from those sources. And in fact, that remains a fact. It remains a fact right now. That's very hard to verify what's going on there because of who has to, provide the information. And I was researching, we had talked previous to the show. I said, this is big. And so I went and looked, and I saw a few videos of people that were supposedly on the ground. And there's one source out there saying, and this is an Iranian source, saying that 17 people were killed.
Mm.
Interesting number. But then you have a Syrian that says, no, the 17 people were not killed. One person was killed.
Right.
And that they thought the forces were the strikes. In fact, they claimed multiple missile attacks. This source said there were multiple missile attacks on the same location, but they're very careful not to hit anything that would have any collateral or civilian damage.
Right.
So we're looking at this information, and we're getting information from sources that are hard to trust anyway from the beginning. So, and we don't know exactly what's going on. We just know about the event.
Right.
And so, we had discussed this last night. So I thought this was very relevant, in particular, that it has, what you talked about with the Syria being the only one of the very few countries that I could name that don't have a Rothschild bank. And second of all, with the disinformation that we've had come out of there before. And third of all, now we have, how in the world does our military carry out a strike ordered by a president that we don't believe is legitimate?
Right.
And
Right.
so we had come to the conclusion that it had to be a white hat operation if it happened at all.
Yep.
But this is so specific, and every line of this is very specific to what we were questioning last night.
Awesome. So go ahead, please continue. You were at,
Yeah, so so with it bringing up the uranium-1, again, that's part of what actually a lot of the investigations that are going on are probably digging into.
right.
Such like Durham, there's has to be a lot of people that are involved in this government right now and have information on the uranium-1 deal, where 25% of our nuclear grade, our weapons grade uranium, ended up on its way to Moscow.
Yes.
And it was sold, and then speculation is that it was sold, and the source of the speculation that got paid off through speech. Bill Clinton got speech money.
Money. Yeah, you got $500,000 from Moscow.
Yeah, for one speech.
Yes.
So we're thinking that that's been put together by other anons, that's where the trail of money, you always have to follow the money.
Yep.
But I'm sure that's not the only payment, but that's one that we know of for sure. So what I'm thinking here is that with all of the things going on right now, I thought that the White Hats had to get this message out, because you could see that even a lot of Schneidheads that know what's going on were worried about the perhaps Durham retirement.
Right.
And there's linkage there, as Mueller was actually involved in the uranium-1 deal and being one of the delivery boys.
He delivered it to Moscow. He delivered a sample.
Yep. Yep. He delivered a sample, and there's the rest of it's speculation, but we know there's a lot of fact to it.
Yeah.
Speculation is also that possibly Hunter Biden's brother actually got a brain tumor from being exposed to it. Remember, you've heard that probably.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Bo.
Bo. Yeah.
And by the way, I was just looking for Wesley Clark's interview. Wesley Clark was, after he retired, he went back to the Pentagon, and one of his generals called him in and said, "Hey," he said, "I've got a list here for you. I want to show you." And he shows him a list of Iraq, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and I might be missing one there. But what? And he says, "What's his list?" And he says, "This is who we're going to war with over the next couple decades." And Wesley Clark said, "What do you mean?" And he said, that's what I've been told, that we're going to be going to war with these countries. And every single one of those countries that we went to war with already, meaning Lebanon, Syria, Afghanistan was in there, and Iraq. Every single one of those did not have a central bank installed by the Rothschild, and now they do. And the ones that still don't are Iran and Syria. And
right.
And
if
so
you look at the heads of those governments that we toppled,
yeah,
actually Saddam Hussein was actually not allowing a Rothschild's bank, and even though he was a CIA plant.
Yeah. And he was also not going to allow us to continue to use U.S. dollar as the petrodollar. He was going to trade on the euro, and Gaddafi was going to trade, was going to sell oil to India on gold. And the only thing propping up the U.S. dollar is the fact that all trades around the world for oil are done with U.S. dollar.
Yeah. And Gaddafi was actually not a crazy person. He was actually a nationalist. He might have been a crazy person, but he had actually a great idea.
Yeah.
To go to a gold-backed currency.
Yep.
And so they couldn't have that. That's uncontrollable by the R's.
That was part of the indoctrinated narrative.
Right. Make him a crazy man.
Yep.
And we've got to take him out because he's a threat to other countries and his own people.
Yep, exactly. I think they've scrubbed that from the internet. I can't find it.
Yeah, I used to pull it up all the time, where he's sitting in the chair in front of like in an auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
I looked for that.
Here it is. I'm gonna let you finish, brother, and then I'm gonna play that. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and play it now. It'll give more context.
Okay. Good. All right. Let me pull this up. This is here it is right here. Okay.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information?"
By the way, do you hear everybody laughing? That's our desensitization to war.
Yep. Yeah.
How many people died in that war? Okay, 500,000 Iraqi children were murdered in that war. And how many of our service men and women who died or whose lives were changed dramatically because of the carnage that we created in Iraq. And listen to an auditorium laughing at this, completely disassociated with the reality of the situation. And that, my friends, is the desensitization of humanity at work. We get kicked off of Twitch for violence, for inciting violence. But every single channel on Twitch is using a video game where they're killing people, burning people alive, chopping heads off, chopping arms off, using swords, using bombs, using guns. And our youth and our adults are being completely desensitized to violence. Look at Hollywood, what I was talking about earlier. We have been, every remake that's ever done has to have violence in it. Okay? And what happened to just good old-fashioned stories where you don't need violence? But this is the par for the course here, is that the desensitization of humanity is at play. And I'll play that back again. I'll back it up just a little bit.
And talk to me a second. I said, well, you're too busy. He said, no. He says, we've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq. Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. We keep asking for people to intervene and stop it. And there's no question that the presence of petroleum throughout the region has sparked great power involvement. Whether that was the specific motivation for the coup or not, I can't tell you, but there's always been this attitude that somehow we could intervene and use force in the region.
By the way, there is a tremendous amount of involvement in Africa that we're not seeing.
Did you know you
that
can
has
make
been completely whitewashed, and from empires, from England to us, to corporations that to the diamond mining, to the gold mining, to the slave labor, to the slavery that continues on the continent of Africa. So we're there. We just don't need, and we just don't need to necessarily go to war with them because they're it's easier to do. So yeah, Todd does bring a little bit of significance to it.
Well, yeah, it shows the motivation behind the military-industrial complex in order to they weren't happy that 201 out of the 208 countries had their banking system. They had to have the whole enchilada, right?
Yep. And by the way,
it wasn't enough money that they were making.
Exactly. And by the way, the reason I said that about Africa is that because I'm disqualifying his comment about the oil, because the oil was not necessarily the reason why we are in those countries. That is the narrative that demonizes the governments that are waging war in those countries. But even Wesley Clark can't speak negatively of the Rothschilds. So that's a narrative that they're allowing Wesley Clark to get away with, because he doesn't mention the real reason, which is the Rothschild central bank. Oil is secondary. Donald Trump made us completely independent of oil through fracking and through drilling in the United States, so that we don't have to go to war with those other countries. And so that is could definitely be a motivating factor. But the environmental movement in the United States has kept us from drilling, so that it would give us an excuse to go to war with those countries when we really don't need to go there for oil. We don't need Middle East oil, folks. We've got more oil in North America than you can shake a stick at. We got more oil than anybody, and so the narrative that he can't talk about is the one I just shared with you about the Rothschilds, and the one that 17 is sharing with us about the Rothschilds, and a little bit of what Todd's talking about. So please continue, my friend.
Oh, I was gonna just right here. I just noticed in the comments, and we have on our screen the hit piece put out by CNN about the cult of QAnon, which we should probably get to later. But I'd like to stay on subject because we knew that the attacks would intensify, as 17 told us. It's a full-on hit piece about how we're a complete cult, Dave. We've heard that before, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
We're saying Scavino was going to come on.
they don't need they panic here. They're panicking so badly that they're doing. I don't know how long this has been on. How long?
I don't know. Several have been notifying me about it.
What's on?
Mav Kennedy
It's
Goodson is recording it.
It's called the Cult of QAnon.
It's on CNN.
Oh.
And they have great reporters from like the New York Times, and then they take the craziest pictures of anybody that could be involved, and they put them in front of the camera.
But what was kind of cool was they were getting out some good thoughts. I mean, they had the 4chan that was saying calm before the storm, and then another one, calm before the storm, and then Patriots on guard, Patriots in control. I'd like, thanks for the message, guys.
Saving the children is a big message.
No, the message that we just...
No, look. They're interviewing people now that are saying save the children. Oh, well, I guess that's kind of bad when you've got 800,000 missing children in your country every year that you don't know where they go.
Yeah, they don't have an answer for that, do they?
No, explain that to us. Yeah, we're not going to do a play-by-play on this, so let's just go on, and then we can go back. There are people recording it.
Yep. Okay.
And so maybe we can drop that for this, but this is way more significant, in that it deals in real factual data.
Yeah, and by the way, we could write that CNN piece. It's that predictable. It's that predictable, right? We're violent. We're it's a cult. We can't think for ourselves. It's all that. So we know, and the more they attack us, the more we know that they are absolutely desperate. Again, fourth quarter activity, wouldn't you say? Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. They're down 10 with a minute 30 to go and panicking and fouling.
Yep. Absolutely.
Actually, they're down more, but
so please continue. We'll get back to the 17 drop. Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, where I mean, if you just go line by line of this, it talks about everything that we had questions about yesterday
Yes.
and why things are happening, all the way from, why was there all this money delivered on the Obama watch in the last days of the Obama administration? How can they take $150 million in 1.5 in cash or 1.3 billion in cash and give it to adversaries that want to do our country harm?
Yep.
Um, you have to question those actions, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent.
Absolutely.
And so they do tell a bit of how this nuclear facility could be covertly funded. And not only that this also links the same uranium that we gave to our adversaries at a time when you're worried at that time. I think you would probably have put Russia as one of our highest enemies on the list.
Yeah, and we're giving them uranium.
Yeah, and here you go. You need some weapons grade uranium. Well, how about you just take a quarter of our supply?
Yeah, let's send the former FBI director under 9/11, by the way, Robert Mueller, over to Moscow to deliver a sample so that they know that we got the good stuff.
Yeah, just like a drug deal.
Yeah.
Here, you might want to sample this before you buy the whole load,
dude. I think Putin even stuck his pinky in and went, "Yep, good stuff." Yep.
The real Putin probably did. I don't know if we've got a replacement or if he's Putin 2.0 or what. But he's sure happy about getting rid of the Rothschild banking system on his property.
Dude, yeah, it's he's a character dressing up like Putin. I guess you could say he's Putin on the Ritz.
I almost felt that one coming.
I know. You almost ducked for that one.
Now, should I be like the Frankenstein monster and go, like a young Frankenstein?
Yeah. All right. So read this damn thing, would you? Go ahead. Where are you at?
It's already. I was through reading it. The post.
Okay.
I got all the way down, and the biggest thing that I thought, the biggest words in the whole thing, because we knew most of it, was the final line, Dave. Patriots in control.
Yes.
So that answers our main question from last night, even though we knew we had it answered.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much. Do you think it was a coincidence that Dan just happened to want to share a picture of Mar-a-Lago today at 1:06 Eastern Standard Time, and it had no other bearing on what we would do with it?
Yep.
He just wanted to show the flag and the property, and if you noticed, I did see where you could see the water, so watch the water.
Yep. And by the way, I've got to share something else with you from one of our just fabulous Snedheads. Did you guys know? I don't even know if you know this. Do you know how fabulous you are? I don't think so. I think we got to talk about this. So let me find it, and let me see. Damn.
You cut out there a little bit, Dave, on our connection. I didn't catch what you just said.
Oh, just how fabulous our Snedheads are.
Oh my God.
And
we've got some really good Snedheads.
And I'm not just folks, I don't just say that to any Snedhead. Just the good ones. So I just lost it. So go ahead with where you were going to take us. And I'll find the damn thing that I just lost. It was good too. Damn. Watch the water. Where the hell did that go? If you sent it to me, people, please send it back. Now, well, let me pull this up for you first. Let me show you the view from Mar-a-Lago. Okay, and with that in mind, this would be really, really good if I could pull this up right now. And
Did you get it?
Ah,
Well, here's what I thought. Some of these
Go
popped
ahead.
out and were more relevant than others. Where it talks about where did the uranium-1 material end up? Is this material traceable? And then it answers that question.
okay. Yeah, okay. Before you go there, pal, I found it. It was from Christy Kilburn. I should have known.
Right.
This is the
Christy
direction
kills it.
that Dan Scavino's picture was in. 55 degrees. It goes points straight to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Okay. Let me show you that again. Look at the direction off Mar-a-Lago, off the eastern coast of Florida. And there's the direction that Dan Scavino's picture is looking. Boom.
I think I can see it.
I can see it. I can see Hillary. I can see her. I can see
And
her.
notice the top of the flagpole hits the very plane of the water.
Yes. How about that? It points in the direction. The flagpole points the direction. Okay. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Christy, great job. Awesome.
Yeah, I wonder what's out there.
What's that?
That is so cool. That's a great catch.
And watch the water. Exactly.
And they got the flag out of the way so you can see the water.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's at half mast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because it shows the flag pointing. If the flag was up at the top, it would be blocking the view of Gitmo. But now we can see it clearly. Okay. All
That's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Well done. Well done. We're at 2,866 people, guys. If we don't get another 100 and, what is that, 30, 34, Todd's going to leave. So share this out.
That's
Get your friends and neighbors. Call out, open your window, stick your head out your window, and say, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
You ought to try this cult, people. It's really fun. They tell you to think for yourselves.
Exactly.
They tell you to be nonviolent at all costs.
Yep.
They tell you to help your fellow neighbors understand and awaken to what our problems are and what's happening really, so that there's no violent outbursts. It's absolutely 180 degrees away from the narrative that I'm seeing on the non-credited news organization.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my God, it's so fantastic. This is great.
Yep. Great stuff. So, all right. So, shall we? You were about to go. You were about to go off when I stopped you there. You want to?
Well, yeah, I was just going to point out, how specific they are to tell you, like I said, where did the uranium-1 material end up? Is this material traceable?
Right.
And then they answer yes. So they know exactly where it went.
Yes.
They know that some of it went to where they just sent the missiles yesterday, supposedly, and the other part of it, I believe, went to North Korea.
Todd, we struck Syria yesterday. This military timestamp of Dan Scavino pointing his camera towards Gitmo was dropped on April 30th, 2018.
Yeah.
Folks, is there any, I mean, do you have any question that 17 has seen the future and now CNN is running a hit piece? Why? To expose those who are trying to divert your attention away from the truth. And it could be a white hat script, it could be a black hat script. We don't quite know. We think that it would be a white hat script, right? And that they're even showing you what these people are willing to do to deceive you away from, this greatest information drop in the history of humanity. That's what they're trying to divert your attention from. Look over here. No.
Well,
don't look over there. Look over here. If you're going to look over there,
well,
you're
kind of
crazy.
along the lines of what Cindy was saying, I almost believe that this is, I mean, I more than believe, but I can almost guarantee you that this is a white hat operation, at least remember yesterday we ran across the drop that said the 4 a.m. narrative about the change in the narrative.
Great point. Yep.
Right now, we're seeing they're laying out the case for us without us even trying on the mainstream media to at least have people look into it, because they're going to say, oh my God, what is this? And go check it out. It's going to be very complicated for somebody to get into it now, but they may run across some little pieces of information and go, yeah, why is that like that? And how can this shill, 17, have this unbelievable information?
Yep.
Because this every drop in here is written by someone who knows what the hell's going on. It's pretty easy to tell.
Yep.
It's so high level that if it were fake, I think it would have been, way more poorly done, for one thing. I mean, to connect all these drops to each other, and I mean, to just do that work and accidentally hit some things, in the public eye, like we were talking about. The big one was like, first of all, the zero deltas on the president, to prove that the president was involved. And the other thing that was huge was, predicting the riots and Antifa and talking about things that were happening today 2 and 3 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
It's if you really believe that some shill just got lucky and said, oh yeah, Antifa is going to be rioting in the streets, and got it right, you're mathematically thinking impossibilities.
Yes. Yes. Hey, also, Christy reminds us too to check out the actual 106, the actual tweet time, right? The East Coast tweet time of Scavino, and
yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
This dive continues through other timestamps and deltas that we normally use. Actually, it's just unbelievable. From this, the continuation was the initial continuation I did, Dave.
Yeah.
Was 1248 in the blue.
Right here, 1248. Yeah. So let's go there. Go ahead. Have at it. It's up on the screen.
And I guess this was just a lucky guess too. This was from April 23rd of 2018, and it says happening now 17, and then it's Nanon responds happy hunting with a website to go to, and then down below Q replies wake up, learn, question, fight. and then gives another site to go to about Red Cross finances, which we have learned to
Yes.
a lot about.
Yep.
But I think the main words to understand in this is it's happening now, and there's some hunting going on, and we need to have other people wake up, learn, and question, and then we need to keep fighting. This is not a time to be sitting on your couch. It's time to be sharing information with people and saying, look, this is really happening.
Save your key lime pie recipes for another day, folks. It's time to spread the truth about what's really going on the planet. And one example of this, Todd, of the indoctrination, of how deep and how thick it is, NPR did not report that the Red Cross is corrupt. The NPR reported that senators' report finds fundamental concerns about Red Cross finances. They're concerned about Red Cross's finances. Did anything happen to Red Cross? No.
Nah.
And they're also not going to report to you that Red Cross is human trafficking, or that Red Cross is funneling, is laundering money. They won't report that. So they will make it look like they're doing some reporting by saying, we've got some fundamental concerns about the Red Cross. And so will the senators and the congressmen do that as well. That's a part of the indoctrination, to make you think that they're watchdogs. They're not. They're lapdogs. Right.
Because it's just like if you look at Swalwell. The thought of impropriety.
He's a dirty dog.
Of a man that is on the Intel committee, the Gang of Eight.
Yep.
He's not just some state rep somewhere. He is a former candidate to be the president of the United States.
Yeah.
How can you just discount all of the facts with Fang Fang?
Yes.
The Chinese spy, who is a Chinese spy. There's no question. Nobody's questioning that.
Yes.
It's just, could you imagine if it was a Republican that happened to? How long would a Republican last in the same situation?
Yeah.
What attacks would have come from the media? Have you heard the media say anything? The media did hardly even mentioned it. Like Hunter's laptop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hunter's laptop has everything evil on the planet on it, and nobody even. No, I don't want to look at it. Get it away from me. We can't talk about that.
Yep. Yep.
And the big guy, it's just, if you don't find it laughable at this time, and you don't get a sense that it's all coming out now. Like, this is like, I heard one Anon say on one of their shows that, I think it was Dan Bongino. He's not an Anon, but he said, we used to get little drips of information, and now it feels like we got our mouths over a fire hose.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why we do shit. That's why we've done 7-8 hour shows, because we're dealing with a fire hose that's loose. By the way, that's it's like the we're just trying to grab hold of it.
Right.
And get control.
And normally, the stuff we don't even get to would be big stuff.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that we cover so big that the other stuff that is so big on its own, we can't even get to it.
Yeah.
So, it's just, God, it's just amazing. I just shake my head all the time. I don't want to wake up and think, oh, yeah, well, this isn't really happening. This is a dream, because it just seems so unreal.
Yep.
And I feel for the people that don't have any clue. because I would be a very lost soul if I didn't know all the information I have now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I
Yeah,
was using
absolutely.
if I was using the television for a source of real information right now, I don't know I don't know how I would act. I don't know. You know, I'm glad I didn't take that timeline. Is all I can say.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Um, so let's go to, did you go anywhere from here?
Yeah, I went to 119. That was the numbers left, and I also went to on the blue, and I also went to 248,
Now,
dropping numbers
now,
off
did you
of
say 119?
yes.
And where are you seeing that?
At the we used up the 1248, and there's a remainder of 119 on the blue of 1306.
Oh, on the previous one. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So 119 is right here, guys. We used 1248. Now we're going to 119. So actually, I'll keep the that one up there. Excuse me. 119. Go ahead, bud.
Oh, 119. Okay.
Yes, please.
119 is November 6th, 2017. So this is going back even further. What is money flow disruption? List the billionaires. What family history goes back pre-World War I and World War II? Why is this relevant? Why did the Bush family recently break silence and attack POTUS? Coincidence pre-Saudi Arabia arrests? Who audits the billions paid for war? Who audits the billions paid for environment policy? Side note. Where do the funds go? Offshore? To who? Which entity and organization? What slush fund was recently terminated by AG Sessions? What is Fast and Furious? What is the underlying theme? Money. Who controls the Fed? How did political leaders, talking heads, accumulate assets in excess of $5 million plus? What was the net worth for each prior to taking office? Reconcile. Why is this relevant? Snow White, Godfather 3, 17. And this is referenced back to the R's, the Rothschilds.
Yes. Who controls
If you
the
do
Fed?
research, you find out about who controlled the money from there, and then it goes back to the Bushes and the Scherfs, and you know we connect them with the Clintons, and it talks about all of the dirty money and the control and the power that they've had for an ungodly period of time on our planet.
Yeah. By the way, look at the questions here. What is this? What is that? What is this? Guess what that does? It actually engages your brain in your own thought. In order for you to really get information out of this, you actually have to answer those questions. That's not a cult. That's teaching you how to engage your brain to think for yourself. Because you could come up with whatever answer you find. Okay.
Well, yeah, if they wanted you to find something, they could have said, you know, did you know that the Martin family controlled the banking system for the last 200 years?
Right.
You know, they would plug the name in.
Yes. Yes. And of course, you know, the Martin family, they're nefarious. There's Steve, there's Rowan, and Martin. Yeah, you're exactly right. They could take the cult would take you down a false path so that you don't find the real answer that they've been hiding from us since they've been in control.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the way that you phrase a question goes all the way back to, I mean, just recently with President Trump's attorney, when he, lost it. With the reporter from the BS network.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it was before she was done asking her question, he was already mad because she was trying to
Yeah.
already lead him or lead the viewer to believe something else was true already.
And a lawyer will object to such a question in a court of law. He would have said, objection, if she was the other attorney, he would have said, objection, Your Honor. Counsel is leading the witness.
Absolutely.
She was leading him in the direction she wanted him to go, and he wasn't playing it. He wasn't playing.
Yep. Yeah, it's very easy to see it. I mean, you guys know what we're talking about. I mean, we're talking to a way higher average than than the average IQ on our group.
Yep, exactly. So where did you go from here?
Our group likes to call bullshit on us, and I don't blame them because there's so much bullshit out there. You have to call bullshit, just like sometimes we call bullshit. We've called bullshit on other people who've given some false information or misleading. We try to stay away from that, but we try to also define our speculation periods as opposed to our factual periods.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing, if I ever gave anything that was false information or misleading, I assure you, it would be pointed out by our Schneidheads because they double check everything.
Guys,
I love it.
Dude, we wouldn't be able to get past the Schneidheads with bad info. No way.
There's 6,000 eyes,
Yeah.
eyes and ears, and they have their own research in front of them as we're speaking.
Yep.
It's not. There's no way we could be leading a group.
No. Yeah.
We're trying to all get through it together.
Exactly. Yep. So this is good. So did you stop here?
Absolutely not. No, this was.
We're not doing a slowdown.
This was worth a dive.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where I got the.
Did you go to 828 by any chance as the mirror number in the blue? Did you? By the way, did you drop any of the numbers?
Yeah, I did, but I cleared everything to tell you exactly where I went because I wanted to kind of go down the path with you guys again,
Sure.
so that I would know how. Because I had, I think I had. You can go on forever on these.
Yeah.
Taking them apart, and I went pretty deep, and it was relevant. I'm just trying to think. I've got a couple here that I don't know how I got to, but I know I found numbers to do it. 151 is in 1306. We've got to stay with the initial drop.
Yeah.
For sure. And 124 is the first three numbers, dropping the 8.
151 is here in 1306 in the timestamp, so we'll go to 151. And then what's the other one, bud?
151 and 124.
124 is right here. Yep.
And then I would go ahead and I think I did the 1151 also, the first, the 11 and 51.
Right. Okay.
There's 106. I'm trying to see what I've got up.
Let me start with 124. It has 3 pluses, 2 pluses, and 1 plus. These are the three sides of the triangle. The 3 plus is right here. 3 plus is Saudi Arabia. 2 plus is United States, and is 1 plus Europe, like Vatican, City of Rome. I'm sorry, Vatican and City of London. Because we've had that described to us before. We've had that, put out there before.
I'm sorry, I had to take care of a loud child in the background. I had to go and beat my son.
Oh, good for you. Yes.
Yeah, just kidding.
Yes.
He's playing his video game, and he plays with his cousins, and they get really rambunctious. So
Yeah.
I had to quiet him down anyway. So
Awesome. So go ahead. 3 plus, 2 plus, 1 plus. Do you remember 3 plus is Saudi Arabia, 2 plus I think is America and United States, and 1 plus is Europe. Am I remembering that correctly?
or city of London. Like you said, I think it covers Europe though.
Yeah.
But mainly, that's everybody thinks we have problems with China, and everybody thinks we have problems with Russia, but actually it all goes back to Mother England.
Yes. Yeah.
Mother, it all goes back to the banking Rothschilds.
Yep. Okay. So go to 1151 if you would, and read that one for us, and then to 151, please.
Which one are you on, Dave? You cut out.
1151. Side-by-side graphic.
Let's see.
SSLL deal drops with original timestamps.
Yeah, that when they talk about the graphic, I just always think about where we're supposed to be keeping track of the important drops. Yeah, I think we actually go to that one.
That's 101, I think.
Yeah, I think it is.
The graphic is 101. And this is the graphic here. So they're basically, as Todd said, it's about, pay attention to the important, drops, right? How many times have we seen, Washington crossing the Delaware, military intelligence, Mueller, what is Mueller's background? Military, Podesta, Huma, all the key ones here are on 101. So when 17 says side-by-side graphic, could be meaning that, or we could also check out, one that was dropped recently. And then LL is normally Loretta Lynch, and SS is, let me see here. Scalise? Is that, I don't know who SS is. Let me find out.
Yeah. Side by side.
Secret Service.
Secret Service.
And then LL is Loretta Lynch. Okay, so what they're telling us here is, let me back out of this. Hold on. Deal drops with original timestamps. POTUS's tweet, important going forward. I think it has to do with the Secret Service that stood down while Loretta Lynch had that meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac. Because Bill Clinton, still would have had access. He was still watched by Secret Service. Don't quite know what they're talking about the deal drops, but the deal was that she was going to get she was going to get a position of Justice of the Supreme Court if she dropped the investigation against Hillary. So that's the deal. And then, of course, 17, references that quite a bit.
Right.
And then POTUS's tweet about it, if I remember correctly, he said, they only talked about their grandchildren. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where my path led me here because I've got numbers up. It's hard to, when you see a number and you put it on your page, it's hard to remember sometimes the path you took.
Right.
And that's where I'm kind of, because there's no way of numbering them. Maybe next time we have to try to save the world from evil like this, we could number them in order. That'd be helpful.
So 151 is how do you capture a very dangerous animal?
Yes.
We've been down that one many times before. Do you attack it from the front? Do you walk through the front door? Do you signal ahead of time you will be attacking? How do you distinguish between good and bad? Again, this is, of course, a cult leader asking a lot of questions that gets you to think. Who do you trust to keep secrets? By the way, do you trust 17 or do you trust, Anderson Cooper? Okay. Because
he's trying to help us out right here.
He is. He's going over the top, trying to, make it look like, he is.
This piece is still going, Dave. I think this is an hour now.
Yeah, right? That's unbelievable. So how do you distinguish between good and bad? That's what we're getting at. Who do you trust to keep secrets? How do you prevent leaks? Who do you trust to complete the mission? How do you prevent warnings being sent? Why is Admiral Rogers so important? Why was the source code to former NSA collection Ps publicly released? How do you blind the clowns in America? CIA. What was Snowden's primary mission? What was his real primary mission? Was Snowden truly acting on his own? Nothing is as it appears. What show is being put on by AG Sessions since his confirmation? We haven't seen him. What show is being put on by POTUS since AG Sessions' confirmation? Why was AG Sessions' confirmation challenged heavily? Because they thought he was going to be on Trump's side. Why was Rod Rosenstein's confirmation smooth and easy? Because they knew he was going to take out Trump, or try to. What was the vote count for Rod Rosenstein? Why did Sessions recuse himself? Because they knew how it was going to go, and they didn't want Sessions to be looked upon as he was in Trump's corner. What group? Why is this relevant? What group has vocally supported Robert Mueller repeatedly? How do you capture a very dangerous animal? Who's best to conduct the attack? Who's the one force necessary? What is the one force necessary to retain control? What does the U.S. military play? Why does the U.S. military play such a vital role in this global game of risk? What is money without power? Why did POTUS depart Manila 30 minutes ahead of schedule? Why is Air Force One landing in Hawaii? Does Air Force One have an air refueling? This is because they did an assassination attempt. Nothing is as it appears. What was the D.C. vote breakdown between Trump and Clinton? What is a nickname for D.C.? The swamp. Why would sealed indictments be outside of D.C. jurisdiction? Because the corrupt D.C. courts. What purpose would this serve? Why are judicial appointments being rapidly completed? Who can you trust? Have faith, patriots. Beautiful. Beautiful. All from one tweet by Dan Scavino. All from one tweet. Thank you, Elaine Steiger, for your beautiful gift, folks. Thank you for supporting this broadcast. Much appreciated. Todd, did you go anywhere from there?
Yeah, I could take you guys down the path and the numbers and everything, but I'm trying to find out, how I did it here. But 50 was very relevant and very, very relevant. Just put it that way. It relates back to our original drop. the 1306.
50. Do you have it in front of you?
Yes.
Can you read it for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank
This is November 2nd, 2017, so this is very early. A big drop. How did North Korea obtain uranium? How did Iran obtain uranium? Why did BO send billions in cash and wire to Iran? Why the cash component? Was the hostage component a cover? For what? Could any of the cash component be handed off to other people? How many planes carried the cash into Iran? Did they all land in Iran? Did all land in the same location? Why is this relevant? Who controls North Korea? Who really controls North Korea? Don't think of a single person, think of a powerful entity. Why is this important? Why are wars important? Who benefits? What does hostage refer to? Who can be held hostage and controlled by North Korea having miniaturized nuclear weapons? Where is BO today? Where is VJ? Alice in Wonderland. And that was even before he started signing with the letter.
Signing what?
So, I mean, he didn't sign early with the 17th letter.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
sign.
Exactly. He was
No.
anonymous early on.
Yep.
And
But see, this goes right back to our 1306 from Dan's original, and it asks questions about North Korea and Iran, and it ties it to BO and how you could possibly, these countries could fund such endeavors as trying to get a nuclear weapon or even
Yep.
miniaturizing them.
Um,
But
I'm forgetting VJ. Oh, Valerie Jarrett. Why do I always forget
yep,
Valerie Jarrett?
yep,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Easy to forget.
yep, easy to forget.
Yeah.
Um,
Valerie Jarrett, guys,
and
is Obama's right hand, basically. And he's left-handed,
I
so.
think that when you look at things like this, a couple things stick out. We all know about. It's not the first time we heard about the uranium and where it went, who put it there, and how it happened, and everything. But then you look at a thing like this, and you see who can be held hostage and controlled by North Korea having miniaturized nuclear weapons.
Right.
That's something that I think, and we've heard some Anons talk about, that there's reasons why things have to be taken out in certain order. And that's why they can't just say, hey, we're in control, look, because I believe they're still negotiating with groups that may possibly be able to still do harmful things. Whether it's in our country or not, I don't know. But I think that has a lot to do with the timing. Otherwise, I believe they would have just, not gone through a lot of the stuff that we're going through right now.
Right.
But you're talking about miniaturized nuclear weapons,
Yep.
I think we have to make sure that we have control of all such things.
Yep.
But then the other one that I went to that I thought was significant. Let's see, there was one that I really liked here that. No, I think we've covered most of them. One of them talks about all the banks again. 136. We did 151. 306. Did we do 306? I don't think we did 306. It's pretty quick. It's from December 9th, 2017. So we're talking, 3.5 years ago.
What's the number,
News
pal?
Unlocked.
206?
306.
2 or 3?
306.
306.
3. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. News unlocks the map. Future proves past. Why was the Lord's Prayer posted? Which version? Why is this relevant? What came out regarding the Lord's Prayer? What can be connected? Do you believe in coincidences? Re-review the map. Post relevant news drops. Godfather 3. That's another reference to the Godfather 3. And we know that news unlocks the map.
Yes.
Now, the Lord's Prayer was that when they wanted to change the words on the Lord's Prayer, didn't they?
Yeah, they wanted to. Well, they wanted to take out one nation under God.
Yeah. Trying to think what what was that they were going to do to that? When I read it, I was like, I remembered they wanted to change it. So what came out regarding the Lord's Prayer? I didn't connect that with anything. That was kind of one of the last ones I went to. Probably not super relevant.
But it brings up Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this Pledge of
Yeah,
Allegiance.
I mean, the coolest thing about this is really, and some of the other ones that I got to, but I'm not getting to now. Oh my God. I've got crazy rabbits right now.
That's all right.
I'm kind of distracted by what they're doing on CNN too, because they just showed the Capitol going, or the White House going dark.
Yeah.
They're like still going, so it's kind of like one eye on there. It's just really interesting. Anderson Cooper actually was showing pictures of himself in the drops.
Yep.
So it's hard to keep my focus here tonight.
That's right,
But
man.
the best thing, like I was saying, I think if the only thing you got was the first drop out of this,
yeah,
that was huge. Saying Patriots are in control.
we don't even need to dig any deeper. But the basically this is from Kathy. She says, Cayman Nurse. She said, Ghost Ezra says Trump on at 3:40, CPAC on the 28th. And so she suggested that we go to the drop 34, because he's on at 3:40. So you drop the 0, right? And then you get to Q Clearance Patriot. And it tells the story. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you all undoubtedly realize we're taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. Okay? And so this gets into it, and rest assured the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system, EMS, during this time in an effort to provide a direct message avoiding the fake news to all citizens. Organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of comms going on right now. I mean, huge. It just keeps, there's more and more just all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on right now. So the other thing I wanted to show, I want to show a video. I want to shift gears here. This is from, let me see. This is Kitty Cadavere. I want to share this with you all. And it's about, well, Assembly Bill A416. Okay. Let me see what pops up here.
Assembly Bill A416 being proposed for the state of New York. Current status of the bill is in committee. I'm going to skip down to section 412 where it states, in addition to the removal or detention orders referred to above, the governor may in his or her discretion issue and seek enforcement of any other orders that he or she determines are necessary or appropriate, including but not limited to require an individual who has been exposed to or infected by a contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, preventative medication, or vaccination. So this bill would allow them to remove you from your home, force you into quarantine, force medical examination and treatment upon you, including a vaccination. This is no longer a conspiracy theory. If this bill gets passed for the state of New York, that's it. I mean, that's the line.
So what's going to happen? What do you think? I mean, do you think this is going to continue? Do you think Cuomo is going to stay in power? No. I take you back to my fellow Americans. We're taking back our great country. All right. We're a part of it. We are taking back our great country. Okay? No question about it. So thank you, Kathy, for that. That was good because, going at what time he's going to speak at CPAC. Now, here's the thing about CPAC, folks. This is a group, by the way, that, they've supported wars in the past. They've supported rhinos in the past. They understand that this is Trump's party now. You get nowhere in the Republican Party or the conservative America without Donald John Trump. No question about it. So, the fact that they're bringing him in and, this is when the Trump red takes over. Not the Republican red, not even the conservative, okay? Because there's a lot of conservatives that are asleep to 17, folks. There are a lot of conservatives that are asleep to human trafficking, okay? So, just this isn't going to be like, yeah. So don't get too, your hopes up too much. I just don't want you to be let down because we don't know if this is going to be a significant communication from POTUS. Because remember, the whole idea for POTUS right now is to be removed from the things that are happening so that the left can't say Trump's just trying to take Biden out because he's a tyrant. Are you with me? That he's a tyrant. He's anything that comes out of the Trump camp, people with TDS are going to, they don't care what it is. They're not going to buy it. Okay? They could be in a desert without water for a day, and Trump could come along with a glass of water and they wouldn't drink it. But if Trump asked somebody else to take them a glass of water, they would drink it up and thank them. They don't need to know it's coming from Trump. That's why the distancing is so important. That's why we haven't heard from Trump. Okay, that's why he's disappeared, if you will. And the only communication we're getting out of Mar-a-Lago is from Scavino.
Yeah,
which is the
I'm
guy.
100% in your I'm 100% in your camp on this, Dave.
Yeah,
And they said POTUS must remain he must remain out of the public eye. That's why he
Yep.
said, POTUS will not be addressing the public. I
insulated.
believe that they have to. This is all the part of the awakening without
Yep.
President Trump around for a reason.
Yeah,
They're just think how hard it would be with President Trump in office, giving so much ammunition to the left through their Mockingbird media to just attack anything that President Trump said. So you were kind of saying that anyway, but with him removed, now they have to deal with just the facts of what everything's being reported. Now we have Cuomo up on the main stage. Now we'll have Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
I think we're going to have some rhinos. We're going to have, what is it next week there's the Supreme Court coming up. They're going to have a chance to look at some more stuff. Will they look at it? No.
Yeah. Todd, I have up on the screen number 6 and number 4. POTUS will not be addressing nation on any of these issues as people begin to be indicted and must remain neutral for pure optical reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of the brilliance just to have that drop.
Yep.
All the good that President Trump did for this country in 17 knew that no matter what he did wouldn't be good enough. So he knew a long time ago that the team knew a long time ago that this is a time to put President Trump on the bench and let him, rest or play golf or do whatever he's doing. I'm sure he's not the one in Mar-a-Lago, but anyway, just keep him safe and isolated and let all this other stuff work out. And I think what you're going to start seeing is some things in the mainstream media, and we've seen it. We've seen some attacks, or not even attacks, just almost normalization. A reporter asked one little tough question of Joe.
Yep.
And he, I don't know, about the Uyghurs. Anderson Cooper asked him about the Uyghurs, and he said, well, that's just the way they do business in China.
Todd, it's important to understand that there are cultural differences.
Right.
And some cultures, murder minorities, murder Muslims, and harvest their organs and rape them and torture them. Children and adults alike is happening in China right now. And Joe is going to say that it is a cultural difference. Fuck you, Joe.
Agreed.
And not really, because you're the actor, you're the double, whoever you are. You're playing a great role. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
You're doing society a favor, Joe, double, because you're brilliant. To be able to slough off a question about the Uyghurs the way he did, brilliant.
Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah. Yep. The clone, no question.
The ears, guys, the ears.
Yeah.
What did they do? The next time you do makeup, make the ears. I mean, that's just for us.
Yeah, John, you're right. I said I would talk about John Durham. So let me pull up something here. And what it was going to be was let me find it. Let me pull it up here in the show chat. Okay. So, okay. this was trippy. I can't show it because I did it on my laptop. How could I do that? Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I gotta show. South Park is coming out, dude. Yeah. All right. So let me show you that the guy who's replacing Durham. Okay. This was some work done by Trista and Christy, Nance Taylor, and Trista Dreamweaver. So this is the guy who's replacing him. His name is Leonard Boyle, okay, who has been appointed. Now, this is why this is so interesting, folks, okay, because this is why we know it's a white hat operation. Leonard Boyle appointed Deputy Chief State's Attorney for Operations, okay, and they've appointed him in to replace Durham, right? Now, let me find the where the rest of this goes. Okay, so let me pull this off so you're not distracted here, and so I can focus on pulling it over where I need it. Okay. So Durham obviously will continue on as the special counsel, and the guy replacing him, Leonard Boyle. Boyle also served as special attorney to the Attorney General of the U.S. from 1999 to 2003 as part of a task force that investigated and prosecuted law enforcement officials who had corrupt relationships with criminal figures in Boston, Mass. From 2004 to 2007, Boyle served as commissioner of the Connecticut Department of Public Safety. In 2007, FBI Director Robert Mueller appointed him director of the FBI's Terrorist Screening Center in Washington, D.C. If he's tied to Mueller, you know he's corrupt. Mueller was the FBI director during 9/11. He covered that whole thing up, and went after Trump for the Russian collusion. Does Mueller come out of this as a white hat or as somebody who made a deal? Time will tell. I don't think so. So he worked for 2 years. He worked as the director of the Terrorist Screening Center for the FBI in Washington, and since March of this year, he's been associate counsel for export-import compliance with Pratt and Whitney. Export-import compliance. Okay, what do we export? What do we import? This is Pratt and Whitney. That's like huge defense contractors, right? And then they're also saying that he might have some ties to human trafficking. That will remain to be seen if you guys want to do a deep dive on this dude. But that he's been in this corrupt, arena for quite some time. Okay. And they're actually saying that he should not be in this position because they opposed him as the deputy chief state's attorney back in 2017 for his basically untenable and deteriorating management situation, and that basically he's corrupt. His handling of administrative investigations of 4 prosecutors and the decision to hire temporary attorneys to fill vacant prosecutor positions. These 2 practices were done outside normal protocol and prompted the union to do something it hasn't done in the past, send those concerns in writing to the Criminal Justice Commission. So this guy is dirty, okay? And they have proof to this fact. So when you're putting somebody in like this is going to attract attention to the internal structure of the deep state, putting these people back up, okay, to keep them in power, right? Yeah. So, excuse me, just got distracted there. So, and thank you, Trista, for all the Boyle information. Okay. And then I love this meme here. Hold on one sec. Flynn talking to Sessions. Do you think they have a clue how bigly we set them up? Wouldn't help them if they did. Look at the connection between Flynn and Sessions there. I don't know when this picture was taken. Obviously, that's not their language that they're saying, but that's a meme that somebody put together. But that's kind of the gist of the whole situation. This is serious, right? And there are, and this is another meme that I like, and this is Biden Fight Club, right? He's kicking his own ass. Ukraine, Obama's clean, truth over facts, Ohio or Iowa, where am I? There are 3 genders. Poor kids are as bright as white kids. Keep punching at the domestic abuse. His sign falling off, his earlobes, this guy is doing a phenomenal job impersonating Joseph R. Biden Jr. And making him look absolutely pathetic, so that even diehard Democrats are looking at this situation and saying, "Oh my God, did we screw up?" Okay, did we screw up? Also, Biden getting involved in this is Netanyahu stepping in. January 23rd, 2021. This is a while ago, but set to dispatch Mossad chief Yossi Cohen to Washington in the coming weeks to lay out Israel's demands of the Biden administration for any new version of the Iran nuclear deal. Iran has said that they would wipe Israel off the map, and so Israel is more concerned about weapons of mass destruction being created in Iran than anybody. Okay, and does Iran have the receipts? Does Iran know what's really going on? Yes, they do. Iran has the receipts of the Obama administration and the corruption that took place with that whole Iran deal, and we know that Obama is a Muslim, and he's tied into the Muslim Brotherhood, and so Muslims aren't big fans of Jews, and so that's why that there's such difficulty in the Middle East between the Jews and the Muslims, and also 17 has also told us that Israel will be last. Yeah. And Todd, are you still with me, bud? I just know I lose you once in a while.
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple of things here on my end.
Good. This is a letter. I have not confirmed this, but have you guys seen this letter, Todd? This is President Trump, his letter on May 4th, 2020, and basically about the U.S. being bankrupt. And May 4th, 2020 is when basically he took control over it. Now, I believe this has happened. I don't know the legitimacy of this letter, and it's hard to read. I can't read it right now, but
yeah,
but we do know that he took over the Federal Reserve in May of 2020, and the way that he would have been able to do that is the fact that they went bankrupt, that the corporation of the United States actually went bankrupt, right?
Right. Yeah, the corporation went bankrupt, and I totally believe I'm in that camp.
Yeah.
It's hard to prove. You can look at the paperwork in Florida and Tallahassee. There's a lot of paperwork supposedly from there with names and actually addresses, and it's just. I totally believe that in fact, if you look at a post I did not too long ago, I think that the Corporation of the United States of America has been reverted back to for America, the reconstitution, the original Constitution, the Republic of the Constitutional Republic has been restored, and President Trump is actually, if not, he's actually the CEO of the corporation that is
Right.
in charge of the Corporation of the United States of America by his actions when he was visiting Great Britain and was able to walk in front of the king and or the queen, and the submission. And I believe that there's a very good chance that he took over basically the corporation that was in charge of our corporation.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why the presidency itself of the defunct corporation didn't matter so much. They could use it just to show people what was capable under these horrible mail-in ballots and all the election fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically, what they did was they did a dry run and just let it play out, and it never did matter because the corrupt bankers that were in charge of the Corporation of the United States of America, they were the ones who turned it into a business.
Yeah.
When we became collateral, when the Corporation of the United States of America was founded.
1871.
Yes. When they turned our country into a business, it took a businessman to get it back.
Yes.
And who better than the man who wrote the book, The Art of the Deal?
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Yep.
Therefore, it's like being the CEO. It's like one company absorbing another company and making the other CEO that was absorbed by the parent company basically a puppet.
Yep.
Which is why we could actually have a guy that has no power and an actor in place, because he's not the one that's controlling anything.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Congress would, in the legislature, the Supreme Court, the whole thing goes down. And that's what we were kind of, my theory's always been that, we weren't going to be rescued by the legislators. We weren't going to be rescued by the courts. We're not going to be rescued that way. Military is the only option. And the military is 100% aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're watching things, and it's all pantomime. It's literally a movie.
Yep.
Whatever Joe does, is scripted. Whatever Nancy does is scripted. Whatever anybody does, all these people, it doesn't matter when you're talking about a bankrupt corporation.
Yes.
That's already been absorbed by the parent company. So that's why President Trump can still be in control, because the bankers turned it into a business.
Yep. Yep.
It's just absolutely brilliant.
So, absolutely, and basically, I want to show you guys a better copy of this. This is pretty. Let me see. Let me pull this up for you. So this is the letter from President Trump. Now it involves Roger Allen Moore, taxpayer ID, and May 4th, 2020. The United States Department of the Treasury Internal Revenue Service forms. Let me make it bigger so you guys can see. Okay. Power of attorney and declaration of representative and 56 notice of fiduciary agent sent December 1st, 2019 via the U.S. Postal Service to whomever United States business entity this may concern who commercially operates on United States public markets and accepts and or exchanges in U.S. currency while providing goods and or services to U.S. consumers in everyday commerce. The above-mentioned U.S. federal public person has a prepaid, non-obligatory commercial debt obligation arrangement with the United States in relation to 12 U.S. Code 95A regulation of transactions in foreign exchange of gold and silver, property transfers, vested interests, enforcement and penalties, Part 2, and other public policy on U.S. debt. Your business entity is federally bound to United States, and by the way, you see how United States is in all capital letters. That is the United States corporation. That's the U.S. corporation, okay? The U.S. corporation. It's getting warm in here. That Trump is talking about here, okay? And hold on one sec. And U.S. public debt obligations by way of your Internal Revenue Service employer ID number, that's our Social Security numbers, under the U.S. Department of Treasury in your Federal Reserve business bank account. Your business is hereby ordered to internalize, and no, I can't even read that. Let me see if I can get closer. Itemize whatever and however many commercial products and or services in which the above, hold on, let me see if I can widen this out a little bit. Yeah, I've got to, I think I've got to make it a little smaller here. Whatever and however many commercial products and or services in which the above U.S. federal public person wishes to commercially acquire, adjust the bottom line total cost amount to zero, and release the items. Provide a receipt to the above U.S. federal person by way of its duly authorized representative, Raphael, his basically this person, and retain the record of the transaction to settle with your federal tax obligation with Internal Revenue Service, as the entire overall transaction is only a commercial accounting matter of what the bankrupt United States owes its true creditors, which is the American people, in direct relation to the Borrowed Gold and National Banking Emergency Act of 1933. If you remember, folks, 1933 was when they confiscated the gold and silver from the people of the United States. Okay. All commercial public debt obligations while transacting all business within the United States commercial markets belong to the United States, as the United States is the true, let me read that, true obliger in each and every U.S. commercial transaction. Any willful dishonoring and or non-settlement of United States commercial public debt obligation matters by any duly bound commercial business entity within the United States will result in federal prosecution to the fullest extent possible. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump, President, Chief Executive Officer of the United States. The CEO of the United States. Okay? So now,
Yeah, the bankers turned it into a business, and we used the business aspect
yeah,
against them.
yes,
That's how I think it played out, and I think that's how you're going to see that it was okay for Trump just to let the election go and expose the fraud, and then
yeah,
that exposed all of the characters who were going to cover up the fraud.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's just brilliant. It shows everything.
Yep, exactly.
You can't tell the people, you have to show the people.
Yep, exactly. Let's take a second and just watch Dan Bongino here for a second. This is dropped to us from Tracy Spaeth, and I just want to. I did not see this, so I'm going to play it here. It's only about minute 20.
Election night and the days later were devastating. Anyone telling you otherwise is full of it. It was devastating. But there's no more time for that now. None. It is up to you as evangelists for the cause to go out there and get everyone off their knees. Get everyone out of bed. Dust off. Get off the mat. There you go. Get the dust off. Stand up and get back in the fight now. There's no more time. The left, right after the election, it's a fact. You may not like them, and I certainly don't like their ideas, but right after the darn election, what were they doing? They were out there in their pink hats in 2016, marching the next day. They were, you saw it. I get it. A lot of us are beat up and are down. We lost a great advocate for the cause in this election, President Trump. But he's not done. You're not done. And listen to me. There is no done. There's no done. Forget done. Take done, throw done out. There's no done. Get immediately back up and get back in this fight tomorrow. Everyone. There's no time for this BS. None. You know.
That's awesome. Thank you, Tracy. That was worth seeing right there. And you know that I love Bongino, and you know this is a fight. There is no done. This is not over. You know, you see the collapse of the corporation, the U.S. corporation. Okay, you see the collapse of the Democrat Party. You see all these things. These are all, you know, again, this is not to show us, Jeff, yeah, I love Bongino. This is not to show us, okay, how bad things are. Okay, this is to show us that we are on the right side, and we are on the side of God. We are on the side of good, and we must, you know, dig in and fight this fight. No question about it. Thoughts on that, Todd?
Oh, I thought that was awesome, and I think that the message is very clear that, you know, if it's worth it for us to have a good country and have a place for our children to live freely and not be oppressed and not have to undergo this brainwashing that we've undergone, you know, we've really got to keep fighting.
Yep.
We can't just, you know, you can't just wait for somebody to come in and rescue us.
Yep.
And that's why we do what we do, to get information out. You know, we're not going to do what the left is accusing our group of doing already.
Yep.
We have to do it. We have to do it by waking people up. And only so many will.
Yes.
And I hit just as many closed doors as anybody, believe me. And I can factually light somebody up. You know, even when you get into a President Trump, you know, you know, we've listed his accomplishments in the 4 years that he had, and they're just amazing. Everything was great for the country, and you could list 100 things easily in a couple of minutes of thought, and you still can't get a person that's indoctrinated
Yeah.
to get past the fact that they just don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Bob Groom says, but they have the MSM. We don't think they do, Bob. We think that most of the scripts are being written by the white hats to expose what's going on, to what's really going
Yeah,
on.
the control of the 4 a.m. narrative is key.
Yeah.
When you go back to the drops, that the control of the 4 a.m. narrative, and I think you're going to see it, and I think you're going to also see that some of these people are going to realize, if they're straddling a fence right now, which way do you think they would fall?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yep.
We're not getting our COVID relief, yet illegals are, and they're getting 3 times as much. Only 9% of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill is for COVID relief.
It's crazy. Yeah.
9%. And they still say there's $1 trillion in the bank account that they haven't spent on the last go round.
Yeah, and they're basically taking care of foreign nations before they take care of us. This is white hat written to get people to absolutely turn on them. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I've even made progress, with some sleepers. Not that they would ever go back to Trump, but just on the state of our country as it is now.
Yeah.
And I said it, I threw a floater out there, to some already. That exact stat that I just said about 9% of the COVID relief bill being for COVID.
Yeah. And
I said, and they were like, well, that's kind of how they all do that. And I said, does that make it right? Would you like to see it changed? Or do you just think that's just the normal corrupt way it's going to be and it's going to always be?
Right.
Or do you think we can make a change? And they're like, well, I don't know how we would do it. And I said, well, first of all, you would have to vote for people that are going to do what they say and say what they mean, and do what they mean.
Yeah.
But you have to take a stake in your own country. You can't just sit on your couch and, like I said, and wait to be rescued or wait for change. You have to do something about it.
Yep.
And whatever it is, whatever you think, write letters to your congressman if you can't do anything else.
Yes.
Let them know how you feel. Bury them in mail.
Yep. It's
if you're not a researcher, bury them in mail. Maybe, try to wake up some friends or, keep working. We can't just say, well, I talked to that person 2 weeks ago. It should be easier to talk to anybody that was asleep now than before the election even.
Yeah.
This last 30 days has been just as we predicted. It's the pilot is steering the plane.
Yep.
Steering the plane for the mountain.
Yep.
And they're seeing it, but it's just like that guy said. What is it? It's easier to get them to do anything other than admit to being wrong.
Yes. What?
That's where we're at now.
Air Force Vet 8700 says, I just bookmarked in my things to watch after Dave and Todd on for 4 hours folder. So I guess he's booking something else to watch after us. And then Christy mentioned we need a convention of states, and that's something that's very interesting, and that might be happening. And CPAC is that what's happening is that the states could get together in a convention of states and overturn the federal government.
Yes,
and that is very interesting concept there, and I think you need 38 states to do that. and when you consider how many states lost their ability, lost their vote, lost their control over their election, that's pretty significant, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many just absolute blue states are there? I don't think there's very many.
No, I think they're mostly red, no question about it.
I mean, I think I live in a blue state, but I don't know how blue.
Yep.
Um, I think that New York is blue, but I think it's turning red because of what's going on there. I think that's a big one to turn. You know, it's the coasts. It's
Yep.
mainly the coastlines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big cities, which, by the way, I don't even think that's the case, especially considering what's happened and the big cities have burned and the police have been defunded and people were fed up. People were
Right.
fed up with this stuff. And so, and now they're giving money to other countries versus the actual people. It's just absurd what's happening. And, and the big cities they're run down. They're a mess. They're a mess.
You know, our total budget for a normal year is around 2.3 trillion.
Right.
And we're talking about a COVID relief bill that is almost our normal budget for everything.
Yes.
And 9% goes to actually what it should be targeted for. I mean, that is something that you need to discuss with your leftist friends.
Yes.
You need to ask them why it's okay that Pelosi gets $100 million for her pet project, and why they're building a bridge from Canada to New York State, for Chucky Boy.
Yep.
And they still have $1 trillion sitting in an account that they haven't gotten out to us anyway.
Yeah.
I know some of that's mine because I haven't gotten mine from the first stimulus.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't either.
And it's not because I make too much money, I guarantee you.
No. And a lot of times too, it's the cities and the rest of the state is dragged down with it. Like Illinois, like Jeff Seifert just said, Illinois is red, Chicago's blue.
Yeah.
And the control over Illinois is blue because they control the elections. Illinois has controlled elections since the beginning of time.
Right.
Through the going back to the dailies, and just total control over the elections. They were the ones that invented dead people voting.
Yeah, 1960.
Yeah, and they still do it today. They still got that kind of control today.
And they laugh about it, just like when we saw the general speaking there earlier. Subject matter that's so serious, and they just laugh it off like, oh yeah, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't understand what this is. This is control of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that are pretty intelligent, and they just say, well, I just stay out of politics.
Yes.
I'm like, so they're music fans. They go to concerts, and I understand that, but how can you not be at least one eye on politics when it hits every facet of your life?
And how about let's see. So guys, we got suspended on Twitch. So there's some people reaching out, they can't find me. But you can always go to the IndoctriNATION.com and /live. Okay. And then you can find us that way, because you can always find us there. And also you can also go to the website, and you could put in into contact. You could put your contact information there, and then you'll always be able to find us. Okay. I wanted to show you guys. Let me see.
Oh, Dave, I was just going to mention something that I heard. Stumbled upon research, and maybe some of the Snedheads could help me refresh where I could have gotten this, but Trump mentioned a new platform. I'm thinking possibly maybe he would announce that at CPAC. Would you see
Yep.
A new site is coming.
A new site is coming.
Interesting. Yeah, I like it.
And so, what if he says, it makes an announcement that he's going to have, some kind of a way to communicate with the country again. Could you see heads explode?
Yep. That could be.
Not that he would be using it, because I still think he's going to be sitting on the bench waiting to come in, but I don't think it's time yet.
Yep. That could definitely be the case. I like the sound of that. A little levity here. Let me show you something. I don't know if it's levity or not, but you guys got to see this. And this is sent by Nancy Sutherland. And I don't know if anybody saw this, but watch this guy standing in front of this building. He's got a lint roller. And he's just telling them to put their arms up. And he's just rolling the lint roller. Look at this. Do you see how people are conditioned, folks? Do you see how they're conditioned to just do what they're told? Okay? This is the constant drip, drip, drip of the indoctrination. And they are just basically doing exactly as they're told. So even the act of not doing what you're told is an act of a revolutionary act. It is a revolutionary act, folks. I'm telling you. It's a revolutionary act.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. And let's see, what else do we have that I wanted to show you? This was key from Beth Hill. Thank you, Beth. This was just today from Natalie Winters of the National Pulse. I don't know this group, but revealed that Biden, National Security Advisor, claimed that Al-Qaeda was on our side. So here is this gentleman with Hillary and Barack Obama, Jake Sullivan, emailed then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton that Al-Qaeda was on our side. This was a WikiLeaks release of 2/12/2012. And it says, Jacob Sullivan, see last item, AQ is on our side in Syria. Otherwise, things have basically turned out as expected. And AQ is Al-Qaeda. And so this is the kind of stuff that's being released, right? And to show that they were on our side, they were funding Al-Qaeda. When she was the Secretary of State, this guy and she and McCain were funding Al-Qaeda. They were funding ISIS. That's why they never defeated ISIS, because ISIS was, being used to perpetuate the war on terror. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Hey, Dave, there's some Schnedheads saying to play the video again of Bongino, that there's something to look at behind him.
Yeah, that there's, I heard that. Let me see if I can find that. Let me get back to that.
And I hadn't seen that clip either, previous to seeing it tonight.
Okay, let me see here. Let me get back to Tracy's email. Oh, I had downloaded it, but let me see if I can just play it. No, I got to download it again so I know where it is. Okay. And, okay.
Election night and the days later were devastating. Anyone telling you otherwise is full of it. It was devastating. But there's no more time for that now. None. It is up to you as evangelists for the cause to go out there and get everyone off their knees. Get everyone out of bed. Dust off. Get off the mat. There you go. Get the dust off. Stand up and get back in the fight now. There's no more time. The left off the mat. There.
I think they're saying that there's a queue somewhere. I don't know if they're talking about the C with the star kind of coming down, but let's keep going.
Get the dust off, stand up, and get back in the fight now. There's no more time. The left, right after the election, it's a fact. You may not like them, and I certainly don't like their ideas, but right after the darn election, what were they doing? They were out there in their pink hats in 2016, marching the next day. They were, you saw it. I get it. A lot of us are beat up and are down. We lost a great advocate for the cause in this election, President Trump. But he's not done. You're not done. And listen to me. There is no done. There's no done. Forget done. Take done, throw done out. There's no done. Get immediately back up and get back in this fight tomorrow. Everyone. There's no time for this BS. None.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a queue anywhere other than that CPAC. But I like that the Sneds are looking for stuff.
Yeah.
And also, let me see where we're at right now. It's 10 o'clock. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to take us down. Let me see here. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Okay. All right. Todd, we are going to, I just wanted to go really quickly to the deltas and just fly through them real quick just to make people aware because there's some good stuff here. This is the delta. By the way, there are no deltas for the hold on. There are no deltas for February 27 or 28. I'm sorry, there are no deltas for February 28th. There are deltas for February 26th today, and February 27th. So let me take you through quickly. First of all, we see Puppet and Puppet Master. This is when Feinstein was bitching out, what's her name? McCloskey, I think her name is. To show who's in control there. Exactly when did Spike Lee find out that Trump was a racist, white supremacist? Truth versus lies, the propaganda war for your mind. Internal civil war and all-out assault against the duly elected president of the U.S. We have never experienced anything like this in our history. Treason and sedition at the highest levels of office through many departments, foreign and domestic. propaganda arm, fake news media of the Democrat Party in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. So we've seen all this. The propaganda arm, fake narrative, House D's in full attack mode, Senate D's in full attack mode. This is their last stand. Fear of prosecution, fear of the public learning the truth, fear of losing power, bribes, blackmail, threats, etc., all being deployed. We are at war. Then it gets into the Uranium One, Todd, which is where we were at. Okay. Former head of Russia's uranium company made 4 hidden donations to the Clinton Foundation, totaling $2.3 million. Bill Clinton bagged the speech money you mentioned. The FBI has uncovered evidence that Russian nuclear industry officials engaged in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering. The Clinton Foundation received $145 million from foreign investors involved in the deal. FBI agents have an eyewitness and documents to support the most explosive parts of the story. Clinton megadonor Frank Holmes lied about selling Uranium One before Clinton approved the Russian transfer. So this is significant stuff. When the real truth regarding Russian collusion is right in front of you, but the fake news media prevents public awareness, conformity, and behavior. So we're going the mainstream media is going to be exposed here. Okay. It's going to be historic, planned long ago. 21 countdown. Within the next 21 days, big happenings are going to take place. Okay. Then the armor of God, which we read last night. And then we go into test, Todd. Test 5.
Yes.
Anons have the originals. How is that possible? Test 6, test 7, test 8. Then we go into February 27th, and it goes to test 10, test 11, and test 12.
Yeah, and they continue the ones that we previously hit on other deltas from the last 2 days.
And those were what numbers? Do you remember?
I believe we ended up on 3, and I guess we could just put them in by test 1, test 2, and test 3, whatever we're missing, and it'll give us the drops backwards.
Yep.
You know, but it's a continuation on at least yesterday's deltas.
Yes. All right, let's wrap this up. And but before we do, Todd, I made a promise. I like to keep my promises, even though this is a promise I've been making for a long time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
Are,
It's getting hot in here,
are you
Todd.
going to unveil? Are you going to unveil something
It's
for
getting
us?
hot in here.
So take off all your
There
clothes.
we go. It's getting hot in here. All right, folks, what do you think?
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
I love it.
Awesome. And here,
It's only taken a year.
yes. And but we did it right. We're talking 100% cotton. We're talking American apparel. We're talking high quality t-shirt there. We're gonna have something on the sleeve, but that's gonna be a surprise. Okay. And we have this in gray, which is 90% cotton and 10% poly. Something about the gray that you have to do it that way. Okay. We also
is
have
cool.
it in white right there. Okay. There we go. And we have it in black right there.
That is so cool.
Now the black one will have the colored flag in here. It will have the colored flag. Okay. All right. That's a big one. That's a double XL. Okay. And
It's so cool.
and a hoodie. There we go. That will have the color as well. The color in there. Okay. And and we're also going to have hats. And we're going to, so be on the lookout. We're setting it up as we speak. You should be able to order by tomorrow, I think. And you could possibly do it tonight, but I'm not going to say that. So go to theindoctrination.com and look for shop or look for the t-shirts, and you'll be able to grab it there. And you'll see everything. We got mugs, and we got everything. So it should be finalized tomorrow. But I wanted to show this, and the sizes, Susie, are going to be they're kind of like it's a good fit. Like it's a fitted fit, and it goes from, but they're unisex sizes. They go extra small, which would fit my 12-year-old daughter.
That's probably what I'll get.
Yeah, extra small for your which bicep?
Which way to the beach?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and then extra small through, like, I think it goes up to double and triple X. Yes. So the prices will be on there, the whole bit.
I just saw you flex. That's how much a delay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's like the first. And by the way, this logo was created together with my friend Will, who we did this logo, oh my God, 2 years ago maybe. And then we added a few things to it. We added the .com. You can see this actually turns, as you guys have seen already, it's a Q, right? And D, they're 100% cotton, 100% cotton, really kind of a stretchy cotton, like a really cool cotton, right? It's not like binding. It's just really, it moves with your body. And it's fitted. So if you're bigger, you want to get a bigger one. So 100% cotton. This one is only 90% cotton. It's 10% poly. It's something to do with the gray. The heather always has to have poly in it. I don't understand why, but I'm a cotton snob. Like, I have to have cotton touching my body for the most part. Sometimes I'll wear something on my sleeve that may not be cotton, or my Lululemon pants aren't cotton, but they feel cotton. And but I'm a snob when it comes to t-shirts. That's why I wanted to get the perfect t-shirt, and I think we've got it. They're made in Haiti. It's really hard to find made in America without jacking the price way up and the whole bit. But we certainly didn't want to go China, and we thought, I thought, Haiti, that's pretty cool because they got screwed over by the Clintons. So if we can support an American company doing business in Haiti, eventually, there's going to be some money going to some, good spaces there. So go to theindoctrination.com. It's not ready for you right now, but it will be certainly by Sunday, but possibly by tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So there are 3 colors. This is the first launch, 3 colors. You'll have some mugs, also beanies, and you can get it, what do you call it? Embroidered beanies and embroidered hats or screened hats as well. Awesome. So,
That's so cool, man. Hey, we finally, we made it.
We made it. Make your own damn shirt.
Went there, been there, got the t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Kool-Aid cup.
And the what? The Kool-Aid cup. Yeah, we should call them Kool-Aid cups instead of mugs.
Hey, I got one. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid. There you go. Hey, dude.
Whoa.
We're gonna have a bunch of that stuff down the road. This is like OG. This is like, my original design when I first started calling it the Indoctrination, when I first launched it. I'm kind of going back to that vibe of creating this logo with my friend Will, yeah. So Kathy, they're not Haiti sizes. They're actually I'll give you an example. I normally, some XLs don't fit me well because they're too short, but American Apparel are a little bit longer. So if you guys can see this, this goes down pretty far, right? Goes down pretty far, and this is an XL, and a lot of XL, and I've washed it too. I washed them last night. We actually had them in last night. So I washed it to see how much shrinkage there would be. So an XL fits me pretty nicely. If you like it, if I liked it loose, and I'm 6'9", 250. So yeah, so it's yeah, so we're gonna get it. Yeah, Jan, we could do 4X. No question about it. There's like a little extra charge, but not much. But yeah, so yeah, I'm a little tall. So we made it happen. So big thanks, by the way, to, I mean, there were different ruminations, different people that were involved at different stages. A big thanks to Randy, a big thanks to Holly, a big thanks to Lindsay and Marianne and Christy, and so many people that were just kind of, pushing this forward and involved. You guys were involved in kind of the design. So there's a .com in the handle of the magnifying glass. So this is one of many, but this is the launch. This is the OG, original gangster, the indoctrination, and there will be Sned heads on the sleeve, folks. There will be Sned heads on the sleeve. So do not worry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, all the girls, Dave, they have a question for you.
I'm taken. I'm taken.
No,
I'm taken, Todd. I deal with this question all the time. I got it.
It was it had to do with shrinkage.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I very little shrinkage.
What kind of shrinkage could we expect, Dave?
Hey, Todd. I think I already answered that XXL question, didn't I? Didn't I already answer that? Listen, there wasn't much shrinkage of this, and I washed it twice. So there wasn't a lot of shrinkage. So I don't think you'll have, but it'll be great. If it doesn't fit you, you give it to somebody that you're gonna awaken, and you buy another one. All right, that's the way this works. Don't be sending them back. we got all sales are final. Okay.
All you rich people just buy a dozen of them and see which one works.
Yeah. And if you want to buy a few things, we're going to have if you buy X amount, you're going to have free shipping, and it'll be done by tomorrow, but Sunday at the absolute latest. So you guys can keep checking back in to the IndoctriNATION.com, and Todd and Cindy, you guys are covered, we're gonna take care of the mods as well. So mods, don't be buying shirts, okay, for yourself.
Thank you, Head Sned.
What's that?
Thank you, Head.
I said thank you, Head Sned.
You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Thank you guys for your patience, and thank you for just all the love and wanting to have this and wanting to do this, and yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah, 100% cotton shrinks 8 to 10%. Well, that's so maybe 8% for these. So yeah, so there you have it, folks. I got the gray one on. I love it. It feels fantastic. It's going to hopefully, elicit conversation. Hey, what's the indoctrination? Oh, what's check your coat? What's a truth cast? What's who's that stud David Snedeker? I mean, who's David Snedeker?
Put cult leader. You can put cult leader on your
cult
back.
leader. Yeah. No, that's going to go on the sleeve, Todd. You wear your cult leader on the sleeve. Yes, Tanya. The ball caps will have the opening in the back for the ponytail. We were thinking about this. So Rob is doing these, and he's a pro. He lives here in L.A. He lives in Vegas, and he's been doing this a long time. So he's been really hustling to get me all the prices on every single size, the prices on every single item, which I needed to be able to kind of wrap my head around how we were going to do this, and so so that's all coming out. We don't have a V-neck, but I'll ask him, Donna. I'll ask him. Tank tops. That's interesting. I didn't think of tank tops. Let's see. The price is going to be like it'll be somewhere in the ballpark of $30 with a Snedhead discount kind of deal, and yeah, so it'll be in that ballpark, and the cap's about the same. And then there'll be like, if you order 3 items, there'll be free shipping. Muscle tanks. I should have thought of the muscle tanks. Oh, they do say check your coat, D. See this? There you go. Check your coat is right there. Right under a David Snedeker Truthcast. And by the way, we were just talking about this, established 1871, the indoctrination. That's when they started having to lie to us about this whole thing, right? Yes, we'll have XL hoodies, no question, Rory. Those will be a little bit more. I don't quite know the prices there. Beach towels, interesting. Yeah. Pop socket, okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Slate Rock says if we get a muscle shirt, we got to have the mullet to go with it. And you'll have the hole in the back of your hat for the mullet, Slate Rock. You can put it right through there.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Yes. Same sizing for men and women. Yes. And it's good, but they're fitted, so they're really good. Like they look good on women, like these shirts. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. And again, as we grow, there'll be greater options and so forth. I'm a Barton, Oregon says shot glasses. All right, we got to work on that one. You need more volume for the Kool-Aid, so we need the mug. Okay, we need the mug. No masks. If I made a mask, it would be like this. That's the mask I would make. Okay, Luna, I'll check into V-neck. Okay. Yes, awesome. Awesome, guys. Yes. So we. How many women have you been having model, Dave? Just one so far, my little girl. That's the only one so far. Yeah, so I guess I got a need, but these shirts are worn all around the world, American Apparel. Awesome. So red in color, Donna, that's a good thought down the road. Let's get this off the ground, right? And then I'll love your feedback, by the way. I'll love, oh my God. Jeannie wants bear with me mugs. Yeah. Yes, Terry.
That's awesome.
Yes, Terry. I played for the Iowa Hawkeyes basketball in 83 to 85 I was recruited by Lute Olson, played under George Raveling. Yeah, we'll do cell phone cases. We'll do all kinds of stuff, but let's get us off the ground first. Bumper stickers, yes. D, your show will skyrocket. I hope so. That would be really cool. I'd love you all to have these guys. These are like these are going to be the original OG, shirts. We're going to go into the future. Todd and Cindy are going to have a space. We'll put Cindy on the sleeve and Todd underneath where the tag is. We'll make some special.
That's where I'd like to be, closer to the Snedheads.
There you go. There you go. Right in the armpit. The Snedhead. That's where we'll put you. Yeah. So that'll be. So we're gonna have some fun with this, guys. Once we get this rolled in, it's gonna be great. You'll learn more about Rob, a minority who is a single father of two boys, and great guy, and he does this. This is his thing, and we're going to be supporting him. So again, thanks to all those, and we're also looking to Teresa Jawson, who has done some incredible designs. In the future, I'm looking to incorporate some of your designs, Teresa. Holly, looking into the future, I'm looking to incorporate some of your designs and make this a community thing. But this was, Rob was the guy that really stepped up in a really professional way and made it really simple for me to build the store and so forth. And he basically did everything. So, Kathy, have Dismay make a coin with your head on it. Actually, we got another Snedhead who wants to do that, and so we're in talks to do that. So that could be some fun. I was just asking for an aluminum coin, and he said no, we can do silver. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we'll get to that. Slate Rock wants some Dave and Todd action figures. Hey, Jeff said autograph on the shirt. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do a separate thing with autographs, like with a picture. So we're going to do, that's going to be separate. Okay. Awesome. D, you will have it. We'll make that happen. So Laura says a muted Dave shirt.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
Bear with me, folks. A bobblehead. Oh my God, that's a great idea. 17 on the back, please. Selena, we thought about that too. That might be the next go around. But also, guys, remember,
Awesome.
we've got the queue. We've got the queue right here. Right? I'm doing that wrong. Why can't I do that? Okay.
Great.
All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's say a quick prayer and call it a night. Dear God, thank you for bringing us all together. Thank you for all the Snedheads and all the love and all this great community that we've created. Lord, we ask you to watch over President Trump and his family and prepare him for his speech this weekend. And may he speak truth, and may he speak effortlessly and with the passion that made so many of us support him and be drawn to him. We ask you to watch over the Q team, all the Anons, the Autists, keyboard warriors, and the Snedheads, and strengthen us in this battle, in this war. And we ask you to watch over the Snedheads that are having difficulty right now, and bless them and wrap them in your arms of compassion and love. And we ask this through Jesus Christ, our Lord, and we ask you, thy will be done. And thank you, God, for all that you do for us and for your grace. Amen. All right, folks.
Amen, brother.
That was awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you all who contributed tonight. You did some great work, And we really appreciate you. And folks, stay in love, stay in joy, find connection. This is where we win the battle, is that we do not let these turkeys drag us down. All right, love you guys. Have a good night. Be well.
Great. Love you, Dave. Love you, Snedhead. Stay in your foxholes.
Absolutely.
Love you guys.
All right. Good night, all.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. See ya.